Marcus Johnson's fork clattered against the plate. The woman in the wheelchair, the one he'd sat with by mistake, just leaned forward and whispered 6 words that stopped his heart. "My father will destroy you tonight." Through the restaurant's entrance, a silver-haired man in a $10,000 suit was walking toward their table. Richard Carter, the man who owned half of Chicago. Marcus had 30 seconds to run. He didn't move. "Drop a comment with your city name so I can see how far this story reaches across America." The valet looked at Marcus Johnson's 2015 Ford F-150 like it was a disease. "Sir, are you sure you're at the right restaurant?" Marcus handed him the keys anyway. "Meeting someone inside." Montclair's didn't have prices on the menu. Marcus knew this because his daughter Keisha had sent him photos with annotations. "Dad, order the steak. Don't look at the wine list. Just say something red. You'll be fine." 47 years old, divorced, 8 years, and his daughter thought a blind date would fix his life. "Her name's Michelle. She's a teacher. You'll like her, Dad. Just be yourself." Marcus had built Johnson's auto repair from nothing. Started with 1 garage and a toolbox 25 years ago. Now he had 3 locations, 22 employees, and a waiting list for appointments. He understood torque specs and compression ratios. He did not understand restaurants where appetizers cost $40. His phone buzzed. Keisha. Table by window. Red dress. Her name is Michelle. Do not talk about cars for 2 hours. Marcus pocketed his phone and walked inside. The hostess wore all black and an expression that said his sport coat from Macy's wasn't fooling anyone. Reservation. Meeting someone. Window table. She tapped her tablet screen, her acrylic nails clicking. "Of course. This way, sir." The restaurant hummed with quiet money. Crystal chandeliers. White tablecloths starched so stiff they could cut skin. Men in suits discussing mergers. Women with jewelry that cost more than Marcus's truck. He scanned the window tables. There. A black woman in a red dress alone checking her phone. Professional. Pretty. Mid-30s maybe. And a wheelchair tucked against the table. Marcus's steps faltered. Keisha hadn't mentioned a wheelchair, but everything else matched red dress window table waiting alone. The hostess gestured toward the table. "Is this your party, sir?" "Yeah, thanks." He approached. The woman looked up from her phone, and Marcus caught his breath. She was beautiful, high cheekbones, intelligent eyes, natural hair pulled back in an elegant bun. "Michelle!" His voice came out rougher than intended. Her eyebrows lifted. Confusion, not recognition. "I'm sorry." Heat flooded Marcus's neck. "I'm Marcus. I thought my daughter set me up on a blind date and said to look for someone in red at the window table, so I just assumed I was your date." A smile played at her lips. Not polite, not uncomfortable, genuinely amused. "Well, this is officially the most interesting thing that's happened to me all month." "I'm so sorry. I'll go find the right—" "Wait." Her voice had command in it, natural authority. "Don't apologize yet. I'm actually waiting for my father, who is chronically pathologically late to every dinner we've ever had. Sit down for a minute. This is too good to waste." Marcus hesitated, standing awkwardly. "Your father might not appreciate finding a stranger at your table." "My father will probably assume you're bachelor candidate number 47 that he arranged to ambush me with and forgot to mention." She gestured to the chair across from her. "Seriously, sit. I'm Jasmine Carter." "Marcus Johnson." He sat slowly, still uncertain. "You sure about this?" "Completely sure." Jasmine set down her phone. "My father has been on a one-man mission since my accident 3 years ago. He's convinced I'm undateable now, so he's constantly engineering chance encounters with men he deems suitable. Men who might, quote, look past my situation. It's exhausting." The bitterness underneath her matter-of-fact tone made Marcus's jaw tighten. "That's insulting," he said. "Thank you." Jasmine's eyes lit up. Most people try to defend him. Tell me he means well. He might mean well, still insulting. Jasmine laughed a real laugh that turned heads at nearby tables. Okay, Marcus Johnson, tell me about this blind date. What's Michelle like? No idea. Keisha just said she's a teacher and I'd like her. Marcus shook his head. I haven't dated since my divorce. Don't really know what I'm doing. How long ago was the divorce? 8 years. 8 years? Jasmine's eyes widened. That's not a dating drought. That's a dating desert. Been busy, Marcus said. Building the business, raising my daughter. Didn't have time for complications. What kind of business? Auto repair. I own Johnson's Auto Repair, 3 locations on the south side. Something shifted in Jasmine's expression. Real interest replaced polite curiosity. 3 locations. That's serious. How long have you been at it? 25 years. Started in my uncle's garage with nothing but a toolbox and an attitude problem. Marcus found himself relaxing despite the absurdity of the situation. Built it 1 customer at a time. Now we're doing good. Real good. That's impressive. Jasmine leaned forward slightly. My father inherited his wealth, 4th-generation money. He's never built anything from zero. There's something admirable about starting with nothing. Your father. Marcus felt his stomach drop as pieces clicked together. Carter. You said Carter. Your father isn't... Richard Carter. Yes. Jasmine watched his face carefully. That Richard Carter. The one who owns half the commercial real estate in Chicago. The one whose name is on 3 buildings downtown. That's my father. Marcus's mouth went dry. Everyone in Chicago knew that name. Richard Carter wasn't just wealthy, he was power. Old money. Connected. The kind of man who had governors on speed dial. Now you understand, Jasmine said quietly, why every setup my father arranges is doomed. Men either want access to his money or they're terrified of his influence. I can't tell which is worse. Which one are you expecting me to be? Marcus asked directly. Jasmine studied him for a long moment. Honestly, neither. You had no idea who my father was when you sat down. And you didn't run when you saw my wheelchair. That makes you different from the last 46 candidates. Why would I run? Marcus's voice had an edge. You're sitting here having a conversation with me. The wheelchair is just how you get around. That's all. Jasmine's eyes glistened suddenly. You'd be shocked how many people can't see past it. Then they're idiots who don't deserve your time. The silence that followed felt significant. Jasmine's phone buzzed on the table. She glanced at it and laughed. My father. He's stuck in traffic. Will be another 20 minutes. He does this every single time. Does he know you know he does it deliberately? Marcus asked. What? He's late on purpose, testing you, seeing if you'll wait, making sure you know his time is more valuable than yours. Marcus shrugged. Power move. My ex-wife used to do the same thing. Jasmine stared at him. In 3 years of therapy, my therapist never said that. But you're right. He's always late. Only to dinners with me. Because you're his daughter, and he loves you, and he's terrified of losing control over you, Marcus said. Doesn't make it right. Just makes it understandable. Are you always this direct? At 47, yeah, life's too short for games. They fell into easy conversation. Jasmine told him about her work vice president of engineering at TechCore Solutions, managing a 40-person team, overseeing cybersecurity projects for Fortune 500 companies. Marcus told her about the challenges of scaling a business, training managers building systems that could run without him. Wait, Marcus said. VP of Engineering, that's real responsibility, big decisions, budget authority. My father thinks it's a hobby. Jasmine's voice went flat. Because I work from home now. Because I'm not in an office building wearing suits and taking meetings in conference rooms. In his mind, remote work isn't real work. The fact that I closed a $3 million contract last month doesn't register. That's bullshit, Marcus said, then caught himself. Sorry, that was true. Jasmine's voice was fierce. That's what it is. And you're the first person in 3 years who said it without qualifying it with, but he means well, or he's just worried about you. He might mean well and be worried. Still bullshit to dismiss your accomplishments. Jasmine reached across the table and touched his hand briefly. The contact was electric. You see me, not the wheelchair, not the rich father. Me. Marcus was about to respond when Jasmine's entire body language changed. She was looking past him toward the entrance, and her expression shifted from open to guarded in seconds. He's here, she said quietly. Marcus, listen to me. You can leave right now. Walk away. I won't be offended. But if you stay, my father is going to make assumptions. He's going to test you. And he's going to try to drive you away. So this is your chance. Run. Marcus turned and saw the man walking toward their table. Richard Carter looked exactly like his photographs. 60 silver hair, a suit that probably cost more than Marcus made in a month. But it was his eyes that struck Marcus. Cold. Calculating. The eyes of a man who'd spent 50 years getting exactly what he wanted. Or, Jasmine added, her voice dropping, you can stay and face the most powerful man in Chicago who's already decided you're not good enough for his daughter. Marcus had 30 seconds to decide. He stayed in his seat. Jasmine. Richard Carter kissed his daughter's forehead, then his gaze landed on Marcus. The temperature in the restaurant dropped 20 degrees. And who is this? Dad, this is Marcus Johnson. Jasmine's voice was steady, but Marcus heard the tension underneath. He sat at our table by mistake looking for a blind date. We've been having a fascinating conversation while I waited for you. Richard's expression cycled through several calculations in rapid succession. A blind date. How serendipitous. Mr. Johnson, what is it you do? Marcus stood and extended his hand. Richard's handshake was a test firm enough to assert dominance held just a beat too long. I own Johnson's Auto Repair, sir. 3 locations on the south side. Auto repair? Richard made it sound like Marcus had said garbage collection. How industrious. Jasmine darling, our private table is ready. I apologize for the confusion, Mr. Johnson. I'm sure you understand. Actually, Dad, I invited Marcus to join us for dinner. Jasmine's voice had steel in it. His date stood him up, and I've genuinely enjoyed his company. I'd like him to stay. The silence stretched for 3 seconds. 5. 10. Richard's jaw muscle twitched. Jasmine, I'm certain Mr. Johnson has other obligations. I don't, Marcus said. And I'd be honored to join you both if the invitation stands. Jasmine smiled. It absolutely stands. Richard's eyes could have frozen Lake Michigan. Wonderful. The more the merrier. This way. The private dining room made the main restaurant look modest. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Chicago skyline. Original artwork that Marcus recognized from museum visits, actual Picassos, not prints. A table that could seat 12, but was set for 3. Richard took the head of the table. Jasmine positioned her wheelchair to his right. Marcus sat across from her, suddenly aware that his sport coat had a loose thread on the sleeve. A waiter materialized. Mr. Carter, your usual? Yes, and whatever my daughter and her guest would like. The pause before guest was surgical. Marcus ordered a steak, medium rare, nothing fancy. Jasmine ordered with the ease of someone who'd grown up with money, but wasn't impressed by it. When the waiter disappeared, Richard turned his full attention to Marcus. So, Mr. Johnson, 3 auto repair shops. That must keep you exceptionally busy. It does, but I've trained excellent managers over the years. They handle day-to-day operations. I focus on growth strategy and major decisions now. Growth strategy. Richard said it like Marcus had claimed to be an astronaut. Where did you study business community college? Dad, Jasmine said sharply. It's fine, Marcus said calmly, meeting Richard's eyes. I didn't study business anywhere formal. I learned by doing, made mistakes, lost money, figured out what worked through trial and error. That's how most small business owners learn, sir. Indeed. Richard's knife sliced through bread like he was dissecting Marcus's entire biography. And you're divorced, I take it? 8 years now. My ex-wife remarried. We're cordial. We co-parented well. 1 child. Daughter, Keisha. She's in her 2nd year at Northwestern's medical school. That stopped Richard mid-chew. Medical school at Northwestern. That's one of the finest programs in the country. Also one of the most expensive. Yes, sir. Keisha earned a partial academic scholarship. I'm covering the rest. She'll graduate debt-free. Richard set down his fork. That's not insignificant. Medical school can run $300,000 or more. I planned ahead, Marcus said simply. Started saving when she was born. Made good investments. Built a profitable business. She's my daughter. I wasn't going to let money stop her from becoming a doctor. Something flickered in Richard's expression. Respect surprise. It disappeared too quickly to identify. What's her specialty? Richard asked. Pediatrics. She wants to work in underserved communities on the South Side. Says that's where the need is greatest. Noble, Richard said, but this time it didn't sound like an insult. The first course arrived. Richard continued his interrogation, but the questions shifted. He asked about business operations, customer retention, employee management. Marcus answered each one honestly, never defensive, never apologizing for who he was or what he'd built. Jasmine watched the exchange like a tennis match, her expression shifting from apprehension to fascination. Then Richard's phone buzzed. He glanced at the screen, and his expression hardened. Excuse me for one moment. He stepped away from the table. Jasmine immediately leaned forward. He just got your background check. What? He has someone on retainer. The minute I introduced you, he texted them your name. They're fast. By now, he knows your credit score, your tax returns, your divorce settlement, probably your high school GPA. Marcus felt his stomach turn. That's invasive, controlling welcome to my life. Jasmine's laugh was bitter. He does this to everyone I meet, every friend, every potential date. He can't just trust people. He has to know everything. What's he going to find? You tell me. Marcus thought about it. Divorce was clean, no alimony. We split everything 50-50. My credit's good. Business is profitable. Tax returns are clean. I've got some savings. Nothing exciting, nothing scandalous. Then he'll be disappointed, Jasmine said. He's hoping to find something, debt, legal troubles, anything he can use to drive you away. Why does he want to drive me away? We just met. Because I like you. Jasmine said it simply. And my father has decided that no one is good enough for me, not since the accident. What happened? Marcus asked gently. If you don't mind. Drunk driver, 3 years ago. I was leaving work late. He ran a red light going 60 in a 30 zone. My car flipped 3 times. Jasmine's voice was steady, clinical. T6, complete spinal cord injury. I died twice in the ambulance. They brought me back both times. Spent 4 months in rehab learning how to live in a wheelchair. Jesus, Marcus breathed. My father blamed himself. He'd asked me to work late that night on a project for one of his companies. In his mind, if he hadn't asked, I wouldn't have been on that road at that time. So now he's convinced he has to protect me from everything. Every risk, every potential disappointment, every person who might hurt me. Including people who might genuinely care about you. Especially them. Jasmine's eyes were bright with unshed tears. Because they're the ones who could hurt me most. Richard returned to the table. His expression was carefully neutral, but Marcus saw the calculation in his eyes. Apologies for the interruption, Richard said, sitting down. Where were we? You were about to ask about my business financials, Marcus said calmly. Or maybe my divorce settlement. Or whether I have any outstanding warrants. Your background check came back, so now you know all of it anyway. The table went silent. Richard's eyes narrowed. Jasmine told you. She did. And I don't blame you, sir. If I had a daughter, I'd want to know who she was spending time with too. But running background checks on people she just met, that's not protection, that's surveillance. Dad, Jasmine said, her voice shaking. Tell me you didn't. Of course I did, Richard said unapologetically. You invited a complete stranger to our private dinner. What was I supposed to do? Trust me. Jasmine's voice cracked. Trust that I can make my own decisions. Trust that I can judge character. Trust that I'm still the same capable woman I was before the accident. You are not the same, Richard said, and the pain in his voice was raw. You died, Jasmine. Twice. I watched them bring you back. I sat in that hospital room for 4 months watching you relearn everything. I can't... His voice broke. I can't go through that again. So instead you're suffocating me, Jasmine said. You're trying to protect me by controlling every aspect of my life. You dismiss my career because I work from home. You interrogate anyone who talks to me. You've turned me into a problem to be managed instead of a daughter to be respected. That's not fair. Isn't it? Jasmine's tears were flowing now. When's the last time you asked about my work? Really asked. When's the last time you celebrated one of my successes, instead of treating it like a participation trophy? When's the last time you saw me as competent instead of fragile? Richard had no answer. His face had gone pale. Marcus felt like he was intruding on something too private for witnesses. He started to stand. I should go. This is a family matter. Sit down, Richard said sharply. Marcus sat. Richard looked at him with eyes full of grief and fear. Do you have any idea what it's like to watch your child die, to hear the flatline, to see them bring out the defibrillator, to pray to a God you don't believe in for just one more chance? No, sir, Marcus said quietly. I don't. Then you can't understand why I do what I do, why I check backgrounds, why I vet every person who comes near her. Because I failed her once. I asked her to work late and she nearly died because of it. I won't fail her again. Dad, Jasmine sobbed. It wasn't your fault. It was, Richard said, and I have to live with that every day. The raw honesty in his voice cut through the tension like a knife. Marcus spoke carefully. Mr. Carter, with respect, you didn't fail her. A drunk driver failed. The justice system failed. But you were there every day of her recovery. You paid for the best doctors, the best rehab, the best equipment. You showed up. That's not failure. But I'm losing her now, Richard said. She won't let me help her. She pushes me away. And I don't know how to protect her without pushing her further. Maybe, Marcus said gently, she doesn't need protecting. Maybe she needs you to see her the way she is now. Not the way she was before the accident. Not the daughter who nearly died, but the woman she's become. A VP of engineering who closes million-dollar deals. A woman who's rebuilt her entire life. That woman doesn't need protection, sir. She needs respect. Richard stared at Marcus for a long moment. Then he picked up his wine glass with a shaking hand. To clarity. God knows we all need more of it. They drank in silence. The rest of dinner was subdued. Richard asked a few more questions about Marcus's business, but the edge was gone. He seemed genuinely curious about customer retention strategies, about how Marcus had scaled operations, about his plans for a 4th location. When dessert arrived, Richard excused himself to take another call. The moment he was gone, Jasmine grabbed Marcus's hand. Thank you. For what? For staying. For standing up to him, for seeing me. Her voice was fierce. In 40 minutes you've done what 3 years of therapy couldn't do. You made him hear me. He loves you, Marcus said. That was obvious. I know, but I need him to trust me too. Jasmine pulled out her phone. I want to see you again. Not as a mistake at the wrong table, as a real date. Are you interested? Marcus thought about his comfortable life, his established routine, the fact that getting involved with Richard Carter's daughter would complicate everything in ways he couldn't predict. Then he looked at Jasmine, brilliant, strong, vulnerable, fighting for her own autonomy. Yeah, he said. I'm very interested. Good. Jasmine texted something on her phone. That's my number. Call me tomorrow. We'll plan something without an audience. Richard returned as they were exchanging numbers. He saw it, but said nothing. Outside the restaurant, valets brought cars around. Richard's was a Mercedes S-Class that cost more than most houses. Jasmine had a customized van with wheelchair accessibility. Before Marcus could leave, Richard touched his arm. Mr. Johnson, a word. Jasmine started to protest. Marcus waved her off. It's okay. They waited until Jasmine was in her van, until the valet had closed the door. Richard turned to Marcus with eyes like ice. Let me be extremely clear. My daughter has been through hell. The accident, the recovery, learning to live with a disability. She's stronger than I give her credit for, but she's also vulnerable in ways she doesn't acknowledge. I understand, Marcus said. Do you? Richard stepped closer. Because if you're with her to access my money, or because you see her as easy prey, or because you want to play hero to the disabled girl, I will end you. Not legally, not publicly. I'll simply dismantle your business piece by piece until there's nothing left. I'll call in favors with your suppliers. I'll buy the buildings you lease. I'll make sure every bank in Chicago knows your name for the wrong reasons. And you'll never prove it was me. Marcus met his gaze without flinching. Mr. Carter, if I wanted money, I'd chase someone else. If I wanted to be a hero, I'd become a cop. I'm interested in your daughter because in 90 minutes of conversation, she's the smartest, strongest, most impressive woman I've met in years. That's it. That's all. Men say a lot of things at the beginning, Richard said coldly. Yes, sir, they do. But I'm 47 years old. I've been married, divorced, and raised a daughter to adulthood. I built a business from nothing, and I'm still standing. I don't play games anymore, Mr. Carter. When I say something, I mean it. And when I commit to something, I see it through. Richard studied him for a long moment. Call her tomorrow. Take her somewhere nice. And Marcus, his voice dropped to a whisper, don't hurt her. Because if you do, money won't protect you from what I'll do. Are we clear? Crystal, Marcus said. Good. Richard turned and walked to his Mercedes. Marcus stood in the valet circle watching taillights disappear into Chicago traffic. His phone buzzed. Keisha. Well, how did it go with Michelle? Marcus stared at the message. Michelle. Right. His actual blind date. The woman he'd never found. He typed back. Wrong table. Right person. I'll explain Sunday. Another buzz. Unknown number. This is Jasmine. In case you thought tonight was a fever dream. Call me tomorrow. Lunch. Somewhere my father doesn't own. J. Marcus saved the number and smiled. His truck arrived. The same valet who'd looked at it with contempt now handed him the keys with respect. Probably Richard's doing a test to see how Marcus treated service workers when he thought no one was watching. Marcus drove home through familiar streets. South Side, his neighborhood. 3-bedroom house he'd paid off 5 years ago. Modest, comfortable, real. Inside, he sat in his living room with all the lights off, thinking about wheelchairs and billionaire fathers, and a woman named Jasmine who ran tech departments and wanted someone to see her. His phone was in his hand before he'd consciously decided to text her. This is Marcus. Tonight was unexpected. Also the best evening I've had in 8 years. Coffee tomorrow at 11. There's a place near my shop. No tablecloths, no background checks. Just us. The response came in seconds. Perfect. Send me the address. Fair warning. I come with an accessible van and a lot of baggage. Still interested. Marcus typed back. I come with a 2015 Ford and a billionaire who wants to destroy me. I think we're even." Her response was a laughing emoji and an address request. Marcus sent her the coffee shop location, then sat back and let the reality of what he'd done sink in. He'd gone to meet Michelle, a safe, predictable blind date his daughter had arranged. Instead, he'd sat at the wrong table and met Jasmine Carter. Brilliant, complicated, the daughter of the most powerful man in Chicago, a man who'd just threatened to end everything Marcus had built. It was reckless, dangerous. The smart move would be to text her back. Apologize, say this was moving too fast. But Marcus Johnson had spent 25 years building a business by taking calculated risks, by trusting his instincts, by knowing when something was worth fighting for, and every instinct he had was screaming that Jasmine Carter was worth it. He looked at his phone one more time. Her last message was still on the screen. Then he did something he hadn't done in 8 years. He took a chance on something that scared him. Tomorrow at 11, he'd show up at that coffee shop, and whatever happened next. Richard Carter's threats. The complications of dating someone from a completely different world. The challenges of building something real with someone the world saw as broken. He'd face it. Because sitting at the wrong table had taught him something important. Sometimes the best things in life don't come from careful planning. They come from happy accidents, from mistakes that turn into moments, from having the courage to stay when every logical reason says you should run. Marcus set his phone down and smiled in the darkness. The wrong table had been exactly right, and tomorrow he'd prove it. Marcus arrived at Common Grounds Coffee 15 minutes early. His hands were sweating. At 47 years old, sweating over a coffee date felt ridiculous, but here he was wiping his palms on his jeans like a teenager. The coffee shop was his territory, a block from his main repair shop, where mechanics and construction workers grabbed morning fuel before their shifts. No crystal chandeliers, no prefix menus, just strong coffee and honest conversations. His phone buzzed at 10:47. Jasmine. Parking now. The accessible spot is taken by someone without plates. Welcome to my life. Marcus was out the door before he'd thought it through. In the parking lot, a BMW sat in the accessible space, no disabled placard visible. Jasmine's van idled nearby, waiting. Marcus walked to the BMW and knocked on the window. A man in his 30s, phone pressed to his ear, waved him off dismissively. Marcus knocked again, harder. The window rolled down. What? That's an accessible parking spot. You need to move. I'll just be 5 minutes. Move now, Marcus said quietly, or I'll have you towed. I own the shop next door. The tow truck driver owes me a favor. The man's eyes narrowed, but something in Marcus's expression made him start his engine. He pulled out with an aggressive rev, middle finger raised. Marcus ignored it and waved Jasmine forward. She parked and lowered the van's ramp. Marcus stayed back watching. She'd said something last night that stuck with him. People either helped too much or not enough, never just right. Jasmine navigated down the ramp smoothly, her wheelchair moving with practiced efficiency. When she reached Marcus, she was smiling. My hero, she said, but there was no mockery in it. Most people just ignore it when someone takes the accessible spot. Most people are assholes, Marcus said. Coffee. Inside the shop was half full. A few regulars glanced at Jasmine, then away. Marcus caught Jerry, one of his mechanics, staring. Marcus shot him a look that said, "Mind your business." Jerry suddenly became very interested in his newspaper. They ordered at the counter. Marcus reached for his wallet. "Separate checks," Jasmine said immediately. The barista looked confused. "It's just 2 coffees." "Separate checks," Jasmine repeated firmly. Marcus understood. This was a test, or maybe a boundary. Either way, he respected it. They found a table by the window. Jasmine maneuvered into position, and Marcus sat across from her with his black coffee. "So," Jasmine said, "you survived dinner with my father. Most men don't make it past the background check revelation. Your father loves you, I get that." My father is terrified of losing me. There's a difference. Jasmine wrapped her hands around her cup. After the accident, he became obsessed with control. Everything had to be managed, monitored, approved. He means well, but he's suffocating me. Have you told him that? Last night was the first time I said it out loud. Jasmine's voice dropped. You saw how he reacted. He heard you, Marcus said. Maybe for the first time. That's something. Maybe. Jasmine didn't sound convinced. Anyway, enough about my father. Tell me about your daughter. Medical school at Northwestern is impressive. Marcus's face lit up. Keisha's the best thing I ever did. Smart as hell, driven, compassionate. She's going to be an incredible doctor. You raised her alone after the divorce. Her mother and I shared custody, but yeah, I had her most of the time. Her mom remarried, moved to the suburbs. We made it work. Marcus paused. It wasn't always easy. Teenage years were rough, but we figured it out together. Does she know about me? She knows I sat at the wrong table and met someone interesting. That's all. Marcus met Jasmine's eyes. I wanted to see where this was going before I involved her. Smart. Jasmine traced the rim of her cup. Marcus, I need to be direct about something. Dating me is complicated. Not because of the wheelchair. I mean that adds logistics, but that's manageable. It's complicated because of my father. He meant what he said last night. If he decides you're not suitable, he'll make your life hell. I'm not scared of your father. You should be. Jasmine's voice was serious. Richard Carter doesn't make idle threats. He owns half the city. One phone call and your suppliers raise their prices. Another call and your leases get complicated. He won't do anything illegal. He doesn't have to. He'll just make everything harder until you decide I'm not worth the hassle. And you're telling me this because I like you, Jasmine said simply. And I don't want you walking into this blind. You need to know what you're signing up for. Marcus took a long drink of his coffee, thinking. Jerry and two other mechanics walked past the window heading to the shop. They saw him through the glass and waved. Normal, comfortable. His life was good right now. Stable. Adding Jasmine meant adding chaos. Here's what I know, Marcus said finally. I'm 47 years old. I've been playing it safe for 8 years. Working, saving, existing. Last night I sat at the wrong table and had the best conversation I've had in years. So yeah, dating you is complicated. Your father's powerful and protective. You come with challenges I'm not used to. But you know what I'm tired of? Safe. Safe is boring. Safe is lonely. I'd rather take a chance on complicated and interesting than stay comfortable and alone. Jasmine's eyes were bright. You might regret that. Probably, but I'll regret not trying more. Okay then, Jasmine smiled. Let's try this. Real dating, getting to know each other, seeing if this is actually something or just chemistry from a weird night. Agreed. Marcus raised his coffee cup. Too complicated. Jasmine clinked her cup against his. Too complicated. They spent the next 2 hours talking. Jasmine told him about her work, cybersecurity protocols, managing difficult clients, the satisfaction of solving complex problems. Marcus told her about the business dealing with difficult customers, finding good employees, the pride of building something that lasted. I need to get to a video call at 1, Jasmine said, eventually checking her phone. Client in California, but this was good, really good. When can I see you again? Marcus asked. Eager are we? I'm 47. I don't have time to play it cool. Jasmine laughed. Friday night. Dinner at my place. I'll cook. Fair warning, my place is fully accessible, so it might look different from what you're used to. I think I can handle it. And Marcus? Jasmine's expression turned serious. My father might show up. He has a key. He has a habit of dropping by unannounced. Does that bother you? It infuriates me, but I haven't figured out how to stop it without causing a massive fight. We'll deal with it if it happens, Marcus said. They walked to the parking lot together. Marcus helped with the van door, not because Jasmine couldn't do it, but because she'd indicated with a glance that help was welcome this time. "See you Friday," Jasmine said through the open window. "Friday," Marcus confirmed. He watched her drive away, then walked to his shop. Jerry was waiting inside, grinning. "So that's what you were doing last night," Jerry said. "Your daughter set you up good." "That wasn't the blind date," Marcus said. "That was the wrong table." "Even better," Jerry laughed. "Boss, she seems nice. Really nice." "She is." Marcus grabbed his work tablet, checking the day's schedule. "And before you ask, yes, the wheelchair is permanent. No, I don't care. Yes, she's out of my league. And yes, I'm doing this anyway." "Wasn't going to ask about the wheelchair," Jerry said quietly. "Was going to ask if you were happy. Haven't seen you smile like that in years." Marcus looked at his employee, his friend. "Yeah, Jerry. I'm happy." The week passed in a blur of work and text messages. Jasmine sent him funny observations about her day. Marcus sent her photos of ridiculous car problems, a family of squirrels living in an engine, a steering wheel held together with duct tape. They talked on the phone every night, conversations that started about work and ended at midnight, neither wanting to hang up. Keisha called Wednesday night. "Dad, you've been dodging my calls. What happened with Michelle?" Marcus took a breath. "I never met Michelle. I sat at the wrong table." "You what?" "I sat at the wrong table. Met someone else. Her name's Jasmine. She's incredible." "Dad!" Keisha's voice was delighted. "Tell me everything." Marcus told her. Most of it. He left out the part about Richard Carter's threats, but he mentioned Jasmine's wheelchair, her career, their conversation. "She sounds amazing," Keisha said. "When do I meet her?" "Slow down. We've had one coffee date. Let me figure out if this is real first." "It's real, Dad. I can hear it in your voice." Friday arrived. Marcus closed the shop at 4, went home, showered, changed 3 times. He settled on jeans and a button-down shirt, casual but respectful. Jasmine's address led him to a condo in Lincoln Park. Expensive neighborhood. Doorman building. Marcus felt out of place immediately. The doorman looked him up and down. "Can I help you?" "I'm here to see Jasmine Carter." "Your name?" "Marcus Johnson." The doorman picked up a phone, murmured something, then hung up. "8th floor. She's expecting you." The elevator was mirrored on all sides. Marcus checked his reflection. Smoothed his shirt, felt ridiculous for caring so much. The 8th floor hallway was wide carpeted. Jasmine's door was open. She was waiting in the doorway, and Marcus forgot how to breathe. She wore a simple black dress, her hair loose around her shoulders. No makeup needed. She was stunning. "You made it," she said, smiling. "Almost didn't. Your doorman looked at me like I was here to rob the place." "Yeah, Bernard takes his job very seriously." Jasmine rolled backward, gesturing him inside. "Come in. Welcome to my space." The condo was beautiful. Open floor plan, wide doorways, lower counters in the kitchen. Everything designed for wheelchair accessibility but stylish modern. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked Lincoln Park. "This is incredible," Marcus said honestly. "My father bought it after the accident. Had it custom renovated. It's one of the few things he did that actually helped instead of controlled." Jasmine moved to the kitchen. "Wine, or are you a beer guy?" "Whatever you're having." She poured 2 glasses of red wine and handed him one. "Dinner's almost ready. Nothing fancy. Pasta salad, garlic bread." "Smells amazing." They worked together in the kitchen. Jasmine gave him tasks: drain the pasta, tear the lettuce, set the table. The domesticity of it felt natural, comfortable. They were plating food when Jasmine's phone buzzed. She glanced at it and went pale. "What?" Marcus asked. "My father. He's on his way up." "You said he might." "I didn't think he actually would." Jasmine's hands trembled slightly. "Marcus, I'm sorry. I should have changed the locks. I should have told him this was off limits." "Hey." Marcus touched her hand gently. It's okay. We'll handle it. You don't understand. He's going to interrogate you again, make this uncomfortable, try to drive you away. Let him try, Marcus said calmly. 60 seconds later, there was a knock. Then the sound of a key in the lock. Richard Carter walked into his daughter's condo like he owned it, which technically he did. He stopped when he saw Marcus. Mr. Johnson? What a surprise. Mr. Carter. Marcus's voice was neutral. Jasmine invited me for dinner. Richard's jaw tightened. Jasmine, darling, you didn't mention you were having company. Because it's my home, Dad. I don't need to report my social calendar. Of course not. I just stopped by to drop off some papers for you to review. Business documents. Nothing urgent. Richard set a folder on the counter. But since I'm here, perhaps I'll join you for dinner. Dad, no. I insist. I'd love to get to know Mr. Johnson better. After all, he seems to be spending a significant amount of time with my daughter. Jasmine looked at Marcus helplessly. Marcus gave her a small nod. We can do this. They sat at the table. Richard positioned himself at the head despite it not being his home. The power play was obvious. So, Marcus, Richard said, cutting into his pasta. How's business this week? Good. Busy. Had to turn away 3 customers because we're booked solid. Must be profitable. 3 locations high demand. Richard took a bite. I've been curious about your financials. Annual revenue, if you don't mind sharing. Dad. Jasmine's voice was sharp. That's inappropriate. It's okay, Marcus said. We clear about $2 million annually across all 3 locations. After expenses, payroll, taxes, I take home around $300,000. Comfortable living. Not rich, secure. Richard's eyebrows rose. $2 million. That's more than I expected for auto repair shops. People always need their cars fixed. We're reliable, fast, fair prices. Word of mouth brings steady business. And you've never considered expanding further. Opening a 4th location. Thought about it, but I'd rather maintain quality than chase quantity. 3 shops is manageable. 4 might stretch resources too thin. Richard studied him. That's surprisingly conservative thinking for an entrepreneur. I'm a businessman, not a gambler. I take calculated risks, not reckless ones. Interesting. Richard set down his fork. And this? He gestured between Marcus and Jasmine. Is this a calculated risk or a reckless one? Dad, stop. It's a genuine question. Marcus is older than you, Jasmine. Established in his ways, set in his routines. And you have unique needs, unique challenges. I'm simply wondering if he's considered the practical realities of dating someone with a spinal cord injury. The room went silent. Marcus set down his own fork carefully. Mr. Carter, with all due respect, you're talking about your daughter like she's a liability. She's not. She's a successful professional who runs a tech department, lives independently, and doesn't need anyone to take care of her. The wheelchair is part of her life. It's not a problem to solve. Easy to say now, Richard shot back. But have you thought about the long term, the medical needs, the accessibility requirements, the reality that certain activities will always be complicated? Yes, Marcus said simply. I've thought about all of it. And you know what I concluded? Every relationship has challenges. Every person comes with complications. Jasmine's are just more visible than most. But they're significant. So are mine, Marcus interrupted. I'm divorced. I have a daughter in medical school who needs my emotional support. I run 3 businesses that demand constant attention. I'm set in my ways after living alone for 8 years. I snore. I'm not great at expressing emotions. I avoid conflict until it explodes. Those are my complications, Mr. Carter. Jasmine's aware of them. She's choosing to date me anyway. I'm choosing to date her. That's how this works. Richard stared at him. You're either very naive or very confident. I'm 47 years old. I'm neither. I'm just interested in your daughter and willing to figure things out as we go. Jasmine had tears streaming down her face. "Dad, you need to leave." "Jasmine. Now, please. You can't keep doing this. Showing up uninvited. Interrogating people I care about. Treating me like I'm incapable of making my own decisions. I love you, but you have to go." Richard stood slowly. "I'm trying to protect you." "I don't need protection. I need respect." Jasmine's voice broke. "Please, Dad, just go." Richard looked at his daughter, then at Marcus. "If you hurt her, Mr. Johnson, I will keep my promise from Monday night. That hasn't changed." "Understood," Marcus said. Richard walked to the door, paused, looked back. "Jasmine, I love you. Everything I do is because I love you. I know, Dad, but love without trust isn't love, it's control." Richard left without another word. The silence after he left was deafening. Jasmine wiped her eyes. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. This is exactly what I warned you about. He's going to keep doing this, showing up, testing you, trying to drive you away." Marcus got up, moved to her side, knelt down so he was eye level. "Hey, look at me." She looked up. "I'm not going anywhere," Marcus said. "Your father is scared and overprotective. I get it. It's not fun, but I understand it. He almost lost you. He's terrified of losing you again. That doesn't make his behavior okay, but it makes it understandable." "You shouldn't have to deal with this," Jasmine said. "Neither should you. But here we are, so we'll deal with it together." "You really mean that?" "I really do." Jasmine leaned forward and kissed him. Soft, tentative testing. Marcus kissed her back, his hand cupping her face gently. When they pulled apart, Jasmine was smiling through tears. "Our pasta's cold." "Don't care," Marcus said. They reheated dinner and ate at the table talking about everything except Richard Carter. Jasmine told him about a project at work securing a healthcare network against ransomware. Marcus told her about training a new mechanic who had serious talent but needed guidance. After dinner, they moved to the couch. Marcus sat. Jasmine transferred from her wheelchair to the couch beside him, and Marcus watched the process with curiosity but no discomfort. "You can ask," Jasmine said. "Most people are too polite or too afraid." "Ask what?" "About the wheelchair, about how it works, about what I can and can't do. You're curious, I can see it. It's okay to ask." Marcus thought about it. "What's the hardest part? Not physically, emotionally." Jasmine was quiet for a moment. "People's assumptions. They see the wheelchair and they think they know everything about me. They either treat me like I'm helpless or like I'm inspirational for doing basic tasks. I'm neither. I'm just living my life. It's harder in some ways, easier in others, different always. But it's my life. I'm not tragic. I'm not inspiring. I'm just me." "You're definitely inspiring," Marcus said. "Marcus. Not because of the wheelchair. Because you rebuilt your entire life after a trauma that would have destroyed most people. You learned new skills, found new ways to work, stood up to your father tonight even though it terrified you. That's inspiring. The wheelchair is incidental." Jasmine leaned her head on his shoulder. "You really see me, don't you?" "I'm trying to," Marcus said honestly. They sat in comfortable silence watching the city lights through the windows. Marcus's phone buzzed. He glanced at it. "Jerry, boss, we got a problem. Fire at location 2, small one, fire department's here. You need to come." Marcus's stomach dropped. "I have to go. There's a fire at one of my shops." "Oh my God, is everyone okay?" "Don't know yet." Marcus stood, grabbing his jacket. "I'm sorry. I have to go," Jasmine said immediately. "Call me when you know what's happening." Marcus kissed her quickly and ran for the elevator. 20 minutes later, he pulled up to his second location. 2 fire trucks. Smoke pouring from the back of the building. Jerry stood in the parking lot with the evening crew. "Everyone out. Marcus asked, running up. Everyone's safe, Jerry said. Started in the electrical room. Spread to the storage area. Fire department got it controlled, but boss, there's water damage everywhere. Electrical systems fried. We're going to be shut down for weeks. Marcus stared at his shop, his second location, the one he'd opened 8 years ago, right after his divorce, the one that finally proved he could scale the business, and watched smoke curl into the night sky. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. He answered. Hello. Mr. Johnson, this is Robert Chen, Richard Carter's attorney. I'm calling to extend an offer on Mr. Carter's behalf. Marcus's blood went cold. What kind of offer? Mr. Carter is prepared to wire you $50,000 tonight. In exchange, you agree to stop seeing his daughter. A clean break, no contact. You walk away. Are you serious? Completely. The money will be in your account within the hour. All you have to do is agree to the terms and sign a simple contract. Marcus looked at his burning shop. $50,000 would cover some of the repairs, would keep his employees paid while they rebuilt, would ease the financial hit he was about to take. Mr. Johnson, the attorney pressed, do we have an agreement? Marcus thought about Jasmine, about her smile, about the way she'd kissed him tonight, about her father showing up uninvited, trying to control every aspect of her life. No, Marcus said. Tell Mr. Carter to go to hell. He hung up. Jerry was staring at him. Who was that? Richard Carter's attorney. Tried to bribe me to stop seeing Jasmine. How much? 50 grand. Jerry whistled. You turned it down. Yeah. Boss, we need that money. This fire's going to cost. I know what it's going to cost, Marcus said, and I'll figure it out, but I'm not taking blood money from a man trying to control his daughter's life. His phone rang again. Jasmine, he answered. Hey. How bad is it? She asked. Bad. Fire's out, but the damage is extensive. Electrical system destroyed. Water damage throughout. We'll be closed for weeks. I'm coming over. Jasmine, it's almost 10 at night. I'm coming over. Send me the address. She hung up before he could argue. 30 minutes later, her accessible van pulled into the parking lot. Marcus met her as she lowered the ramp. You didn't have to come, he said. Yes, I did. Jasmine looked at the damaged building, at the fire truck still on scene, at Marcus's exhausted face. This is awful. What can I do? Nothing. It's under control. Insurance will cover most of it. We'll rebuild. How long until you can reopen? 6 weeks minimum, maybe 8. Jasmine was quiet, thinking. Where will your employees work? Can you shift them to your other locations? Some of them, not all. I'll have to lay off a few temporarily. They'll be okay. Most of them have savings. But it's going to hurt. No. Jasmine's voice was firm. You're not laying anyone off. Jasmine. I appreciate the thought, but how much revenue does this location generate monthly? Marcus told her. And payroll for the staff here. He told her that too. Jasmine pulled out her phone, typing rapidly. Okay. I'm going to lend you $100,000. Interest-free. You pay it back when you can, no pressure. That'll cover payroll and immediate expenses while insurance processes the claim. Marcus stared at her. I can't take your money. It's not a gift. It's a loan. Business transaction. You'd do the same for me. Jasmine. Marcus. Listen to me. She grabbed his hand. My father is trying to destroy your business to drive you away from me. I watched him do it to the last man I dated. Suddenly, his commercial leases got complicated. His suppliers raised prices. His bank loans came due early. My father is relentless. If you're going to survive dating me, you need resources. So take the loan. Keep your employees paid. Rebuild. Show him you can't be bought and you can't be broken. Your father tried to bribe me tonight, Marcus said. His attorney called, offered me $50,000 to stop seeing you. Jasmine closed her eyes. Of course he did. What did you say? I told him to go to hell. Jasmine opened her eyes, tears flowing. You turned down $50,000. Wasn't enough, Marcus said. Nothing would be enough. She kissed him then in the parking lot with firefighters and his employees watching with smoke still hanging in the air. She kissed him like she was drowning and he was oxygen. When they pulled apart, she was smiling. "Take the loan, Marcus. Let me help." "This is crazy." "Dating me was always going to be crazy. You said you were tired of safe. Remember." Marcus looked at his damaged shop, then at this woman who'd driven across town at night to help him, who was offering $100,000 to keep his business afloat, who was fighting her own father for the right to make her own choices. "Okay," he said. "Okay, I'll take the loan. Thank you." "You're welcome." Jasmine squeezed his hand. "Now let's figure out how to rebuild this place. I might know a project manager who owes me a favor." They spent the next 3 hours coordinating. Jasmine called her contact, got him on site within an hour. The project manager assessed the damage, gave preliminary estimates, promised to start work Monday morning. Jasmine set up a temporary management system on her laptop, cross-referencing it with Marcus's existing business software. By 2 in the morning, they had a plan. The shop would be closed for 6 weeks. All employees would be shifted to other locations or kept on payroll. Insurance would cover structural repairs. Jasmine's loan would cover everything else. Jerry approached as they were finishing. "Boss, I don't know who this woman is, but marry her." Marcus laughed, exhausted. "It's been 5 days, Jerry." "Some things you just know." Jerry grinned at Jasmine. "Thank you, ma'am, for helping. A lot of us were worried about making rent next month." "No one's losing their job over this," Jasmine said firmly. "Marcus built something good here. We're going to make sure it survives." After Jerry left, Marcus walked Jasmine to her van. "I don't know how to thank you." "You already did. You chose me over the money. That's all the thanks I need." "Your father is going to escalate now. He'll see this as defiance." "Let him," Jasmine said. "I'm done letting him control my life, and I'm done watching him destroy the lives of people I care about." "You care about me?" Marcus asked. "Obviously. I just loaned you $100,000. I don't do that for people I'm ambivalent about." Marcus laughed. "Fair point." He watched her drive away, then returned to his shop. The fire trucks were gone. The building sat dark and damaged. 6 weeks minimum before it would be operational again. His phone buzzed one more time. Unknown number. He almost didn't answer. "What?" he said. "Mr. Johnson." Richard Carter's voice cold and controlled. "I understand you declined my attorney's offer." "That's right." "And I understand my daughter has offered you a loan." "How do you—" Marcus stopped. Of course Richard knew. He probably monitored Jasmine's accounts. "Yeah, she did." "Let me be clear, Mr. Johnson. This fire was unfortunate but coincidental. I had nothing to do with it. However, if you continue seeing my daughter, future misfortunes may not be coincidental. Do you understand what I'm saying? You're threatening me. I'm warning you. Jasmine is vulnerable. She doesn't see it, but I do. And I will do whatever is necessary to protect her from people who would exploit that vulnerability." "I'm not exploiting her," Marcus said. "I'm dating her. There's a difference." "We'll see." Richard hung up. Marcus stood in the empty parking lot, phone in hand, and understood exactly what he'd gotten himself into. Richard Carter wasn't going to stop. The fire might have been coincidence, but the next problem wouldn't be. The man had unlimited resources and no qualms about using them. Dating Jasmine meant war with her father. Marcus looked at his damaged shop, thought about the woman who'd shown up at 10 at night to help him rebuild, and made his choice. He'd fight. Whatever Richard Carter threw at him, he'd survive it. Because Jasmine Carter was worth fighting for. And Marcus Johnson didn't back down from fights that mattered. The next morning, Marcus woke to 17 missed calls. 12 were from suppliers. 5 were from his insurance company. All of them had the same underlying message. Things were about to get complicated. He called his steel supplier first. Mike Chen had been selling him parts for 15 years, always fair prices, always reliable. "Marcus, I'm sorry, man," Mike said before Marcus could even speak. "I got orders from up top. We're doubling your prices effective immediately." "What?" "Mike, we have a contract. Contracts being reviewed by legal. They found some clause about market fluctuations. Look, I don't like it either, but my hands are tied. Someone with serious pull made some calls. I'm guessing you know who." Marcus's jaw clenched. "Yeah, I know who." The next 3 calls went similarly. Brake pad distributor prices up 40%. Paint supplier suddenly requiring cash on delivery instead of net 30 terms. Even his uniform service called to say they were terminating the contract due to business restructuring, as Richard Carter was burning down Marcus's business without lighting a single match. By noon, Marcus sat in his office at Location 1 with Jerry and his bookkeeper Linda running the numbers. "If all these price increases stick, we're losing money on every job." Linda said, her voice tight with stress. "We either raise our prices significantly or we close." "If we raise prices, we lose customers," Jerry added. "Most of our clients are working-class folks. They come to us because we're affordable and honest." "So we're screwed," Marcus said flatly. His phone rang. Jasmine. He stepped outside to answer. "I just heard from 3 different vendors," she said without preamble. "My father's making calls. He's using his connections to squeeze your supply chain." "I noticed," Marcus said. "How did you hear?" "I still have friends in his company. People who are loyal to me, not him. They warned me." Jasmine's voice was shaking with rage. "Marcus, I'm so sorry. This is my fault. He's doing this because of me." "Hey, stop. This isn't your fault. This is your father being a controlling asshole. I need to talk to him. Make him stop." "You think that'll work?" Jasmine was quiet. "No, but I have to try." "Be careful," Marcus said. "He's not rational right now." After they hung up, Marcus went back inside. Jerry was on the phone arguing with someone. Linda was typing furiously on her calculator. "I have an idea," Marcus said. "It's risky, but it might work." "We're listening," Linda said. "We go direct to manufacturers. Cut out the distributors entirely. It'll take longer to get parts, but the prices will be better. And we leverage our reputation, reach out to customers, directly explain the situation without naming names. Tell them we're restructuring our supply chain, and prices might fluctuate temporarily, but we're committed to staying affordable." Jerry nodded slowly. "That could work. But going direct means learning new systems, new contacts. It'll take time. We have time. 6 weeks while Location 2 rebuilds. We use that time to restructure everything." Marcus looked at both of them. "This won't be easy. We're essentially rebuilding the business model while still operating. But if we can pull it off, we'll be stronger, less dependent on distributors who can be pressured." "I'm in," Jerry said immediately. Linda nodded. "Me too. Let's do it." They spent the afternoon making calls. Marcus reached out to manufacturers in Mexico, Canada, even some overseas. Most were interested. Direct relationships meant better margins for them too. By 5 o'clock, they had commitments from 4 major manufacturers and promising conversations with 6 more. Marcus drove home exhausted, but cautiously optimistic. His phone rang as he pulled into his driveway. Keisha. "Dad, what the hell is going on?" His daughter's voice was sharp with concern. "I just got a call from the financial aid office. They said my tuition payment for next semester is being flagged. Something about the source of funds being under investigation." Marcus's blood went cold. "What?" "They're saying there might be irregularities with the payment. They need additional documentation. Dad, I could lose my scholarship if this doesn't get resolved. What's happening?" Marcus closed his eyes. Richard Carter wasn't just attacking his business. He was attacking his daughter's education. "It's going to be okay, Keisha. I'll handle it." "Dad, you're scaring me." "Handle what?" Marcus took a breath and told her everything. The wrong table. Jasmine. Richard Carter. The fire. The bribery attempt. The supply chain attacks. And now this. Keisha was silent for a long moment. Dad, maybe you should walk away. If this man is willing to go after my education. I'm not walking away, Marcus said firmly. Your education is safe. I have documentation for every penny I've sent to Northwestern. Carter's just trying to scare us. It won't work. But Dad, Keisha, listen to me. I've spent 8 years playing it safe, being careful, avoiding complications, and I've been lonely and stuck. Jasmine is the first person in years who makes me want to take risks again. I'm not giving that up because her father is a bully. Even if it costs you everything. It won't cost me everything. It might cost me some money, some stress, some sleepless nights. But Keisha, you taught me something when you decided to go into medicine. You told me you wanted to work in underserved communities because that's where you're needed most, even though you could make more money elsewhere. You chose meaning over safety. I'm doing the same thing. Keisha's voice softened. She must be really special. She is. Okay, Dad. But if my scholarship gets pulled, I'm blaming you. Marcus laughed despite everything. Fair enough. After they hung up, Marcus sat in his truck for a long time. He was tired, scared, angry, but also strangely alive in a way he hadn't felt in years. His phone buzzed. Jasmine. At my father's office. This isn't going well. Call you later. Marcus stared at that text and felt his stomach twist with worry. Jasmine sat across from her father in his corner office on the 43rd floor of the Carter building. The Chicago skyline spread out behind him like a kingdom, which was probably the point. You need to stop, Jasmine said. Her voice was steady, but her hands were shaking. Stop attacking Marcus's business. Stop going after his daughter's education. Stop trying to control my life. Richard leaned back in his leather chair. I'm protecting you. You're terrorizing a good man because you can't accept that I'm an adult capable of making my own choices. He's using you, Jasmine. Can't you see that he's a mechanic from the South Side who suddenly has access to money and connections through you? Of course he's interested. He turned down your $50,000 bribe, Jasmine shot back. If he was after money, he would have taken it. $50,000 is nothing compared to what he could get long term. He's playing the long game. Jasmine slammed her hand on the desk. Listen to yourself. You've decided Marcus is a con artist based on nothing, zero evidence, just your paranoid assumption that no one could possibly want to be with me for me. That's not what I'm saying. That's exactly what you're saying. Jasmine's voice cracked. You're saying I'm so unlovable, so damaged that anyone who shows interest must have an ulterior motive. Do you have any idea how that feels? To have your own father believe you're not worthy of genuine affection. Richard's face went pale. Jasmine, I don't think that... Then stop acting like it. Tears streamed down her face. I love you, Dad. But I can't do this anymore. I can't keep defending my choices to you. I can't keep watching you destroy people I care about. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to stop attacking Marcus. You're going to call off whatever investigation you started into his daughter's tuition, and you're going to leave us alone. Or what? Richard's voice was cold. Or I'm done. Jasmine's voice was quiet but absolute. No more dinners, no more family events, no more letting you into my life. I'll move to another city if I have to, but I will not let you control me anymore. Richard stood up abruptly. You don't mean that. Try me. Jasmine met his eyes. I almost died 3 years ago, Dad. I spent 4 months learning how to live again. I'm not wasting the life I fought so hard to keep by letting you make all my decisions. So choose. Accept that I'm an adult with agency or lose me completely. Jasmine. Those are your options. Think about it. She turned her wheelchair toward the door. Wait. Richard's voice was raw. Please just wait. Jasmine stopped but didn't turn around. "I can't lose you," Richard said. "When you were in that ambulance when they couldn't find a pulse, I made a deal with God. I said if he let you live, I'd spend the rest of my life keeping you safe. And I have. I've tried so hard to keep you safe." "I know, Dad." Jasmine's voice was softer now. "But I don't need safe. I need to live, really live. Take risks, make mistakes, choose my own path. And sometimes that path is going to scare you. But you have to let me walk it anyway. What if he hurts you? Then I'll heal. Just like I healed from the accident. Just like I heal from every setback. But Dad, you hurting me right now. By not trusting me. By treating me like I'm incapable of judgment. That's hurting me more than Marcus ever could." Richard was crying. Jasmine had seen her father cry exactly twice in her life, once at her mother's funeral, once in the hospital after the accident. This was the third time. "I don't know how to let go," he whispered. "You don't have to let go completely. Just loosen your grip. Let me breathe. Let me choose." Jasmine turned to face him. "And Dad, Marcus is a good man. Give him a real chance. Not a background check or a test. A real chance. Get to know him without the interrogation. You might actually like him." Richard wiped his eyes. He did turn down the money. He did. And he stayed when I threatened him. He did. And his daughter is in medical school, which means he raised her right. He did. Jasmine rolled closer. "So will you stop? Will you give us a chance?" Richard was quiet for a long time. "If I agree to back off, you have to promise me something." "What?" "If he ever hurts you, not physically. I know he wouldn't do that. But if he breaks your heart, if he walks away because things get difficult, you tell me. And you let me help you through it. No shutting me out." "Deal." Jasmine held out her hand. Richard shook it, then pulled her into a hug. "I'm sorry. For all of it. The control, the threats, the investigation into his daughter's tuition. I'll fix it. All of it." "Thank you, Dad." "But I still don't trust him," Richard added. "He has to earn that." "That's fair. Just give him the opportunity to try." Jasmine left her father's office and immediately called Marcus. He answered on the first ring. "How bad was it?" he asked. "Bad, then good, then complicated." She took a breath. "He's going to stop. The attacks on your business, the investigation into Keisha's tuition, all of it. He's calling it off." Marcus let out a breath he didn't know he'd been holding. "How did you manage that?" "I told him I'd cut him out of my life completely if he didn't stop. I meant it, and he knew it." "Jasmine, I don't want to be the reason you lose your father." "You're not. He's the reason. He was suffocating me long before you showed up. You just gave me the courage to finally say enough." She paused. "Marcus, I need to ask you something, and I need you to be honest." "Okay. Are you sure about this? About us? Because my father backing off doesn't mean things will be easy. I still come with complications, medical appointments, accessibility needs. The reality that some things will always be harder for me than for able-bodied people. If you're having doubts, now's the time to say so." Marcus didn't hesitate. "I'm sure. The complications don't scare me, Jasmine. What scares me is the idea of not having you in my life. Even after everything my father put you through this week. Even after. Your father loves you. He went about it the wrong way, but I understand the instinct. If I had a daughter and some guy showed up..." Marcus stopped. "Actually, I do have a daughter, and if some mechanic twice her age started dating her, I'd probably lose my mind too." Jasmine laughed through tears. "You're not twice my age. You're 13 years older. That's different." "Is it though?" "Yes, I'm 34, not 20. I know what I want, and I want this. Want you. Even with all the complications." "Then we're doing this," Marcus said. "For real. No more wondering if we're going to survive the obstacles. We're just going to plow through them together." "Together," Jasmine agreed. "I like the sound of that." They talked for another hour. Marcus told her about the plan to restructure his supply chain. Jasmine told him about a major client meeting she had next week. Normal conversation. Work stress and future plans. Like they'd been together for years instead of days. When they finally hung up, Marcus felt lighter than he had all week. The next morning, he arrived at location 1 to find Jerry grinning. "Boss, you need to see this." In the parking lot, a delivery truck was unloading boxes, brake pads, oil filters, spark plugs, all from Marcus's old suppliers. "What's going on?" Marcus asked. Jerry handed him a stack of invoices. "Every supplier who raised prices this week just sent replacements at the old rates. Some even included apology letters. Check this one out." Marcus read the letter from Mike Chen. "Marcus, my sincerest apologies for the confusion this week. Our pricing department made an error. Please accept this shipment at our standard rates with an additional 10% discount for the inconvenience. Looking forward to continuing our partnership." Richard Carter called them off. Marcus said quietly, "Looks like it. Your girlfriend must have some serious persuasion skills." "She's not my—" Marcus stopped. Was Jasmine his girlfriend? They'd known each other for less than 2 weeks. But they'd been through more in that time than most couples experience in months. His phone rang. Unknown number, but Marcus answered anyway. "Mr. Johnson, this is Dr. Patricia Green from Northwestern's Financial Aid Office. I'm calling about your daughter Keisha's tuition inquiry." Marcus braced himself. "Yes. I apologize for the confusion this week. Our fraud detection system flagged your payment incorrectly. We've cleared it completely. Keisha's scholarship and enrollment are secure. Again, our deepest apologies for any stress this caused." "Thank you," Marcus said, relief flooding through him. After he hung up, Jerry was watching him with a knowing smile. "So, your girlfriend. When do we get to meet her officially?" "She's not." Marcus stopped again. "Okay, maybe she is. I don't know. We haven't defined it." "Boss, she loaned you $100,000 and got her billionaire father to stop trying to destroy your business. If that's not girlfriend material, I don't know what is." Marcus laughed. "Fair point." He texted Jasmine. "Suppliers backed off. Financial aid cleared Keisha. Your father actually kept his word." Her response came immediately. "Told you. He's a man of his word when properly motivated. Dinner tonight. My place. I promise no surprise father visits." "I'll bring wine," Marcus typed back. "Bring yourself. That's all I need." That evening, Marcus showed up at Jasmine's condo with flowers instead of wine. Grocery store bouquet, nothing fancy, but Jasmine's face lit up like he'd brought her diamonds. "No one's brought me flowers since the accident," she said, taking them. "People send them after you know as sympathy. But not just because. Thank you." They cooked together chicken stir-fry, Jasmine's recipe. Marcus chopped vegetables while she handled the wok, their movements synchronized like they'd done this 100 times before. "I talked to my daughter today," Marcus said as they ate. "Told her everything that happened this week. She wants to meet you." Jasmine's fork stopped halfway to her mouth. "Already?" "She's protective. Wants to make sure her old man isn't getting played." "And you told her what? That you're brilliant and strong and you scare me in the best possible way." Marcus met her eyes. "Was that okay to tell her about you?" "More than okay." Jasmine smiled. "I'd love to meet her. Fair warning though, I'm terrible at meeting parents. Or in this case, children. I get nervous and say weird things." "Keisha will love you. She's been bugging me for years to date someone smart. You definitely qualify." After dinner, they moved to the couch. Jasmine transferred over, and Marcus noticed she didn't ask for help this time. He was learning to read her signals when she wanted assistance, when she didn't, when she was in pain but trying to hide it. "Can I ask you something personal?" Marcus said. "Always." "Do you want kids? Someday?" Jasmine went very still. "That's a serious question for 2 weeks in." "I know, but I'm 47. I don't have time for casual. If we're going to do this for real, I need to know if our futures align. Jasmine was quiet for a moment. Pregnancy is complicated with my injury. Not impossible, but high risk. I'd need careful monitoring, probably bed rest in the 3rd trimester, and recovery would be harder. She paused. But yes, someday. If I found the right partner, I'd want kids. Why? Because I'm 47 with a daughter in medical school. I figured I was done with the kid phase of life. But sitting here with you, I'm realizing maybe I'm not. Maybe I'd want to do it again if it was with you. Jasmine's eyes filled with tears. Marcus Johnson, are you talking about having children with me after 2 weeks? I'm talking about possibilities, future possibilities. Is that crazy? Completely crazy. Jasmine leaned against him. Also kind of wonderful. They sat in comfortable silence, watching the city lights. My father wants to have dinner with us, Jasmine said eventually. A real dinner. No interrogation, no threats. He wants to apologize and start over. When? Sunday, if you're willing. Marcus thought about it. Richard Carter had tried to destroy his business, threatened his daughter's education, and offered bribes to make him disappear. Every instinct said to refuse the dinner to keep his distance from that kind of power and control. But Richard had also backed off when Jasmine drew a line. Had called off the attacks, had proven he could change even if just barely. And more importantly, Richard was Jasmine's father. If Marcus was serious about a future with her, and apparently he was given that he'd just brought up kids, he needed to find a way to coexist with her father. Okay, Marcus said. Sunday dinner. But if he tries anything, he won't. I made myself very clear. He knows this is his last chance. Then I'm in. Jasmine kissed him soft and sweet and full of promise. Sunday arrived faster than Marcus expected. He spent Saturday helping Jerry coordinate the Location 2 rebuild and reorganizing supplier contracts. By Sunday afternoon, he was exhausted but satisfied. The business would survive. Maybe even thrive with the new direct manufacturer relationships. He picked up Jasmine at 6. She'd insisted on meeting at her place so they could arrive together. Solidarity, she called it. You look beautiful, Marcus said when she opened the door. She wore a blue dress that matched her eyes. You clean up pretty well yourself. They drove to Richard's house, not a condo, not an apartment, but an actual house in the Gold Coast. 3 stories of historic architecture and old money. Richard opened the door himself. No butler or staff. Jasmine, Marcus, come in. The house was elegant, but lived in. Family photos on the walls. Jasmine as a child, as a teenager, college graduation photos. One photo stopped Marcus in his tracks. Jasmine standing holding a soccer trophy. Huge smile on her face. Before the accident. She was the best midfielder in her conference, Richard said quietly, noticing where Marcus was looking. Full scholarship to Northwestern. Had dreams of playing professionally. Dad, Jasmine said, her voice warning. It's okay, Richard said. I'm not being maudlin, just stating facts. She was extraordinary then. She's extraordinary now, just in different ways. They sat down to dinner Richard had cooked, which surprised Marcus. Roast chicken, vegetables, homemade bread. Simple food, but well done. I owe you an apology, Richard said without preamble. I handled this entire situation poorly. I let my fear control my actions. I tried to drive you away because I was terrified of my daughter getting hurt. But in doing so, I hurt both of you far more than you ever could have hurt each other. Marcus didn't know what to say. I also owe you compensation, Richard continued. For the business disruption, the stress, the suppliers. I'll wire $50,000 to your business account tomorrow. Consider it a settlement for damages. I don't want your money, Marcus said immediately. It's not charity. It's restitution. I caused harm. I'm making it right. Mr. Carter. Richard, please. If we're going to do this, and it appears we are, you should call me Richard. Marcus looked at Jasmine. She nodded slightly. Okay, Richard. I appreciate the gesture. But I don't need your money. What I need is your respect. For me, and more importantly, for your daughter. She's brilliant and capable. She doesn't need you protecting her from the world. She needs you supporting her as she navigates it herself." Richard set down his fork. "You're right. Jasmine told me the same thing. I'm trying to change. It's not easy. 40 years of being a certain way doesn't shift overnight." "I'm not asking for overnight," Marcus said. "I'm asking for effort, real effort, to see Jasmine clearly." "I can do that." Richard looked at his daughter. "Jasmine, I'm proud of you. Your work, your independence, your strength. I don't say that enough. But I am so proud." Jasmine was crying. "Thank you, Dad. That means everything." The dinner continued more easily after that. Richard asked Marcus about his business restructuring with genuine interest. Marcus asked Richard about commercial real estate. They found common ground in business strategy, in the challenges of managing people, in the satisfaction of building something that lasts. After dessert, Richard pulled out a folder. "I have something for both of you. Don't worry, it's not a contract or a background check." He handed the folder to Jasmine. She opened it and gasped. "What is it?" Marcus asked. "It's the deed to this house," Jasmine said, her voice shaking. "Dad, what?" "I'm transferring ownership to you," Richard said. "It's fully accessible already. I had ramps and an elevator installed after your accident, thinking you might want to move back in. You didn't, but the modifications are here. It's yours. Do with it what you want." "Dad, this house is worth millions. And it's yours. No strings, no conditions. Just my way of saying I trust you to make your own decisions about your own life." Richard looked at Marcus. "Including who you share that life with." Marcus understood what Richard was really saying. This was acceptance, permission, blessing. Jasmine wheeled around the table and hugged her father. "Thank you for everything, for trying." "Thank you for not giving up on me," Richard said. They left Richard's house 2 hours later. Jasmine was quiet on the drive back to her condo. "You okay?" Marcus asked. "I own a house now, a historic Gold Coast mansion. That's insane." "Your father's way of apologizing is apparently very generous." "It's more than that." Jasmine looked at Marcus. "He's accepting us, really accepting us. That house, it's big enough for a family. He's saying he sees a future for us." "Is that what you want?" Marcus asked carefully. "A future with me." Jasmine didn't hesitate. "Yes, I know it's fast. I know we barely know each other, but yes, I want a future with you." Marcus pulled over to the side of the road and kissed her. Deep and thorough and full of promise. When they broke apart, they were both breathless. "So, we're doing this," Marcus said. "For real. Building something together." "We're doing this," Jasmine confirmed. "Whatever comes next, we face it together." Marcus drove her home, walked her to her door, kissed her goodnight like a teenager. On the drive back to his own house, he called Keisha. "I'm bringing someone to Sunday dinner next week," he said. "Someone important. Her name is Jasmine. I think I'm falling in love with her." Keisha was silent for a moment. Then, "It's about time, Dad. Bring her by. I can't wait to meet the woman who got you to finally take a chance again." Marcus hung up and smiled into the darkness. 2 weeks ago, he'd walked into the wrong restaurant at the wrong table and found the right person. Now, he was driving home thinking about futures and families and possibilities he'd written off years ago. Life was complicated. Jasmine's father was difficult. The wheelchair added logistics. They barely knew each other. But Marcus Johnson had spent 8 years playing it safe. He was done with safe. He wanted complicated and challenging and real. He wanted Jasmine. And somehow, miraculously, she wanted him too. That was enough. More than enough. It was everything. 3 months passed faster than Marcus thought possible. Location 2 reopened with new electrical systems and updated equipment. The direct manufacturer relationships proved more profitable than the old distributor model. Business was thriving in ways Marcus hadn't anticipated. But it was Sunday dinner with Keisha that had his stomach in knots. "You're pacing," Jasmine said from her position at his kitchen table. She'd driven to his house early to help prep, though Marcus suspected it was more about moral support than cooking. "I'm not pacing. You've walked past that window 6 times in 3 minutes. That's pacing." Marcus stopped mid-step. "What if she doesn't like you? Then I'll win her over eventually. I'm very persistent." Jasmine rolled closer. "Marcus, breathe. Your daughter loves you. She wants you to be happy. She's going to see that I make you happy, and that'll be enough." "You don't know Keisha. She's protective, analytical. She's going to ask you medical questions about spinal cord injuries just to see if you're comfortable discussing it." "Good. I like direct people." Jasmine grabbed his hand. "Stop worrying. The worst that can happen is she's skeptical at first. That's normal. I'd be skeptical too if my parents started dating someone new after 8 years." The doorbell rang at exactly noon. Keisha was nothing if not punctual. Marcus opened the door, and his daughter threw her arms around him. "Hey, Dad." "Hey, baby girl." He hugged her tight, then stepped back. "Keisha, this is Jasmine Carter." "Jasmine, my daughter Keisha." Keisha turned, and for a moment, Marcus saw her doctor brain cataloging details. The wheelchair, the adaptation equipment visible in Jasmine's bag, the confident way Jasmine held herself despite being scrutinized. "It's so wonderful to meet you," Keisha said, extending her hand. "Dad's told me absolutely nothing about you, which means he's serious. He only gets secretive about things that matter." Jasmine shook her hand, laughing. "He's told me everything about you. Medical school pediatrics plans to work in underserved communities. You're impressive." "I'm broke and exhausted, but thanks." Keisha followed them into the kitchen. "So, you're the woman who sat at the wrong table." "Guilty. Though technically your dad sat at the wrong table. I was exactly where I was supposed to be." "Semantics." Keisha grinned. "Either way, best mistake he ever made, based on how much he smiles when he talks about you." Marcus felt his face heat up. "Can we not—" "Oh, we're definitely doing this," Keisha said. "I've watched you mope around for 8 years. Someone makes you happy, I'm going to talk about it." They settled into lunch prep together. Keisha and Jasmine fell into easy conversation about healthcare technology. Jasmine's company had just landed a contract with a major hospital system, and Keisha had opinions about their cybersecurity protocols. Marcus mostly listened amazed at how naturally they connected. "Okay, I have to ask," Keisha said as they sat down to eat. "And Dad's going to hate this, but I'm asking anyway. How do you two navigate the logistics? Dating with a disability adds complexity. I'm not being rude, I'm genuinely curious from a medical perspective." "Keisha," Marcus said sharply. "It's okay," Jasmine said calmly. "It's a fair question. The answer is communication. I tell Marcus what I need, what I can do independently, where I might need help. He listens without making assumptions, and we figure things out together." "What about long-term stuff?" Keisha pressed. "Medical needs accessibility requirements, the reality that certain things will always be more complicated." "Keisha, that's enough," Marcus started. "No, let her ask." Jasmine met Keisha's eyes. "You're protective of your dad. I respect that. So here's the truth. Yes, dating me is more complicated. I have medical appointments. I need accessible spaces. Some activities require more planning. But your dad? He doesn't see that as a burden. He sees it as part of who I am, and I see his complications too. His work, stress, his tendency to avoid conflict. His dad jokes that aren't funny." "Hey," Marcus protested. "They're really not funny, Dad," Keisha agreed. "The point is," Jasmine continued, "everyone comes with complications. Mine are just more visible. But we work through them because we care about each other. That's what people do." Keisha studied her for a long moment. "Okay, I like you. You're direct and you don't take Dad's crap. That's all I needed to know." That's it? Marcus asked, surprised. You had me terrified, and that's all you needed. I needed to know she could stand up for herself, that she wouldn't let you steamroll her with your nice guy routine. Keisha turned to Jasmine. My dad's a good man, but he has a savior complex. Tries to fix everyone's problems. I needed to make sure you wouldn't let him treat you like a project. I'm no one's project, Jasmine said firmly. And your dad knows that. Right. Right, Marcus confirmed, though he felt slightly attacked. Good. Keisha took a bite of chicken. So when's the wedding? Marcus choked on his water. What? You're 47, Dad. You're not getting any younger. If this is serious, and clearly it is, you might as well lock it down. We've been dating 3 months, Marcus managed. So, you sat at the wrong table and changed your whole life. Why wait? Keisha looked at Jasmine. Unless you have reservations. I have 0 reservations, Jasmine said, her eyes sparkling with amusement. But I think your dad might need more time. I don't need more. Marcus stopped. Can we please not plan my wedding during our first lunch together? Fine, Keisha conceded. But I'm just saying, don't wait too long. Good things don't stay available forever. The rest of lunch was easier. Keisha told stories about medical school disasters. Jasmine shared cybersecurity nightmare scenarios. Marcus mostly watched them bond and wondered how his life had changed so completely in 3 months. As Keisha was leaving, she hugged Jasmine. Take care of him. He acts tough, but he's soft inside. I know, Jasmine said. I like that about him. After Keisha left, Marcus collapsed on the couch. That was terrifying. That was sweet. Your daughter loves you. She just wanted to make sure I was good enough for you. Jasmine transferred to the couch beside him, though the wedding comment was a bit much. She's been telling me to date for years. Now that I finally am, she's trying to rush everything. Is she, though? Jasmine asked quietly. Rushing things. Marcus turned to look at her. What do you mean? I mean we're both adults. We know what we want. We've been through enough in 3 months to test most relationships. Maybe Keisha's not wrong about not waiting. Jasmine, are you saying? I'm saying I love you. She said it simply, directly. I've been wanting to say it for weeks, but I was waiting for the right moment. This feels like the right moment. Marcus felt his chest tighten. I love you too. God, I love you. I was terrified to say it first because 3 months seemed too fast. It's only too fast if it's wrong. This doesn't feel wrong. No. Marcus agreed. This feels right. Scary as hell, but right. They kissed soft and sweet, and Marcus thought about Keisha's wedding comment. It was too soon. They barely knew each other. They hadn't even discussed living arrangements or future plans or any of the practical things couples should figure out before engagement. But he also knew with absolute certainty that Jasmine was it for him. The person he wanted to wake up next to every morning. The person he wanted to build a life with. Maybe Keisha was right. Maybe when you know, you know. 2 weeks later, Marcus was working late at Location 1 when his phone rang. Richard Carter. Marcus, I need your help. Richard's voice was strained in a way Marcus had never heard before. What's wrong? It's Jasmine. She's in the hospital. Northwestern Memorial. Something about her shunt. I don't understand what the doctors are saying, and she's unconscious and... Richard's voice cracked. Can you come? Marcus was out the door before Richard finished the sentence. He drove to Northwestern Memorial, breaking every speed limit, his mind racing. Jasmine had mentioned the shunt once, something about managing fluid buildup from the spinal injury. But she'd said it was routine manageable. Richard was in the waiting room looking older than Marcus had ever seen him. His expensive suit was wrinkled, his silver hair disheveled. What happened? Marcus demanded. She called me this afternoon. Said she had a headache. I didn't think anything of it. Then she called back an hour later, barely coherent, saying something was wrong. I sent my driver to get her. By the time they arrived at the hospital, she'd passed out. Richard's hands were shaking. The doctors are saying something about the shunt malfunctioning, pressure building in her spine. They might need emergency surgery. Marcus sat down hard. Can I see her? Family only. I'm sorry, they're strict about it. I'm her? Marcus stopped. What was he? Boyfriend felt inadequate. Partner seemed presumptuous. They hadn't defined it beyond, I love you. You're important to her, Richard said quietly. That's what matters. Let me see what I can do. 20 minutes later, a nurse led Marcus to Jasmine's room. She was unconscious, hooked up to monitors, her face pale against the white sheets. Marcus took her hand, carefully mindful of the IV line. Hey, it's me. I'm here. No response, just the steady beep of monitors. A doctor entered, young, efficient, carrying a tablet. Are you family? I'm... Marcus hesitated. He's family, Richard said firmly from the doorway. Tell him what you told me. The doctor nodded. Ms. Carter has a VP shunt, a ventriculoperitoneal shunt that manages cerebrospinal fluid. It's a complication from her spinal cord injury. The shunt appears to be blocked, causing dangerous pressure buildup. We need to do emergency surgery to replace it, tonight. What are the risks? Marcus asked, his voice steady despite the fear coursing through him. Standard surgical risks: infection, bleeding. But the bigger risk is doing nothing. The pressure could cause permanent damage, seizures, stroke. We need to operate now. Then do it, Marcus said. Mr. Carter has already consented. I just wanted to make sure you understood the situation. The doctor looked at his tablet. We're prepping the OR now. Surgery should take about 2 hours. After the doctor left, Marcus stood by Jasmine's bed, still holding her hand. She never mentioned the shunt was this serious, he said to Richard. She downplays everything medical, doesn't want to be seen as fragile. Richard's voice was heavy. I should have pushed harder, made her get more frequent checkups. This is my fault. It's no one's fault, it's just bad luck. I can't lose her again, Richard whispered. When the accident happened, when she died in that ambulance, I made promises to God. Ridiculous promises. I'd give anything, do anything, if he'd just let her live. And he did. She lived. But I never stopped being terrified it would all get taken away. Marcus understood then. Really understood. Richard's control, his overprotection, his desperate need to manage every aspect of Jasmine's life. It all came from this place of absolute terror. She's going to be okay, Marcus said, not sure if he was reassuring Richard or himself. They wheeled Jasmine away at 8 o'clock. Marcus and Richard sat in the surgical waiting room, not talking, just existing in shared fear. At some point, Richard spoke. If she makes it through this, when? Marcus corrected. When she makes it through. When she makes it through, Richard amended. I want you to marry her. Marcus's head snapped up. What? I'm serious. She loves you. You love her. Life is too short and too uncertain to wait. When she wakes up, ask her. I'll pay for whatever wedding she wants. Wherever, whenever. Just... Richard's voice broke. Make her happy. That's all I want. For her to be happy. She makes me happy too, Marcus said quietly. I know. I've been watching you two. The way she smiles around you. The way you look at her like she's the only person in the room. That's rare. Don't waste it waiting for the perfect moment. They sat in silence for another hour. Marcus texted Keisha. Jasmine's in surgery, shunt malfunction, at Northwestern Memorial. Keisha's response came immediately. On my way. She arrived 30 minutes later, still in scrubs from her hospital rotation. She hugged Marcus hard. She's going to be fine, Dad. VP shunt replacement is routine. I've seen it dozens of times. She's unconscious. She didn't even know I was there. She knows. Trust me. Even unconscious, she knows you're here. At 10:30, the surgeon emerged. Everyone stood. The surgery went well, the doctor said, and Marcus felt his knees go weak with relief. We replaced the shunt. The pressure is normalized. She's in recovery now. She'll be groggy when she wakes up, but she should make a full recovery. Can we see her? Richard asked. Give her another hour, then immediate family only just for tonight. She needs rest. Richard looked at Marcus. You should be there when she wakes up. I'm not family. Yes, you are. Richard turned to the doctor. This is Marcus Johnson. He's Jasmine's fiancé. He should be there when she wakes up. The doctor nodded. Of course. I'll have a nurse come get you when she's ready. After the doctor left, Marcus turned to Richard. I'm not her fiancé. Not yet. But you will be. So the lie is just premature honesty. Keisha snorted with laughter. I like how he thinks. At 11:40, a nurse led Marcus to Jasmine's recovery room. She was pale but breathing steadily, her eyes closed. Marcus sat in the chair beside her bed and took her hand. Hey, he said softly. It's me. You scared the hell out of us. But you're okay now. The surgery went well. You just need to rest. Jasmine's eyes fluttered open. Marcus, I'm here. You came. Her voice was slurred from anesthesia. Of course I came. Where else would I be? Thought you might run. Medical emergencies. Too complicated. Jasmine Carter, I'm not running. Not from this. Not from you. Not ever. Good. She smiled weakly. Because I love you. Even with my stupid malfunctioning shunt. I love you too. Especially with your stupid malfunctioning shunt. She laughed, then winced. Don't make me laugh. Hurts. Sorry. Rest now. I'll be here when you wake up. Promise. Promise. She fell back asleep within minutes. Marcus sat there watching her breathe, thinking about Richard's words, about marriage and timing, and not wasting rare things. He'd spent 8 years playing it safe after his divorce, avoiding risk, building walls around his heart. Then he'd sat at the wrong table and met a woman who made him want to tear down every wall and take every risk. Life was uncertain. Jasmine's emergency tonight proved that. Things could change in minutes. Health could fail. Time could run out. Keisha was right. Richard was right. When you know, you know. And Marcus knew. Jasmine spent 3 days in the hospital. Marcus was there every moment, visiting hours allowed. Richard came by twice daily bringing flowers and books and expensive fruit baskets that Jasmine made him distribute to other patients because nobody needs $12 grapes. On the 3rd day, as they were prepping to discharge her, Jasmine's doctor pulled Marcus aside. She's going to need help for the next few weeks, the doctor said. No driving, limited mobility. Someone should be with her full-time initially. I'll be there, Marcus said immediately. You work full-time. I own the business. I can adjust my schedule. She won't be alone. The doctor nodded approvingly. She's lucky to have you. Marcus helped Jasmine get settled back in her condo. He'd already stocked her fridge, set up her medications, arranged her space so everything was within easy reach. You didn't have to do all this, Jasmine said from her wheelchair. I wanted to. Let me take care of you for once. I'm not good at being taken care of. I noticed, but you're going to have to tolerate it for a few weeks. Doctor's orders. Jasmine sighed. Fine, but I'm a terrible patient. Fair warning. She was right. She was a terrible patient. She tried to work from her laptop while on pain medication. She attempted to cook dinner when she could barely sit up. She insisted she was fine when she clearly wasn't. By day 5, Marcus was exhausted and frustrated. You need to rest, he said after finding her on a work call at midnight. I'm resting. I'm sitting down. Jasmine, you just had brain surgery. Shunt replacement. It's different. You know what I mean. You need to stop pushing yourself. I'm not an invalid, Marcus. I don't need you hovering over me like my father used to. The comparison stung. That's not fair. I'm not trying to control you. I'm trying to help you heal. By telling me what I can and can't do. By asking you to follow doctor's orders. They stared at each other, both angry, both scared. I'm sorry, Jasmine said finally, her voice breaking. You're right. I'm being difficult. I hate this. Hate being weak. Hate needing help. It reminds me of right after the accident. Months of being helpless, dependent, broken. I can't go back to that feeling. Marcus knelt beside her wheelchair. You're not broken. You're recovering from surgery. There's a difference. And asking for help doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. I know. Logically, I know. But emotionally, she wiped her eyes. I'm terrified. What if the shunt fails again? What if next time it's worse? What if I become more disabled instead of less? Then we deal with it. Together. Whatever happens, we face it together. You say that now. But you didn't sign up for this. For medical emergencies and hospital stays and complicated health issues. Actually, I did. The minute I decided I loved you, I signed up for all of it. The good days and the bad days and the scary days. That's what love is. Jasmine pulled him close, crying into his shoulder. I'm scared, Marcus. I'm so scared. I know. Me too. But we're going to get through this. They held each other for a long time. Over the next week, Jasmine slowly improved. She followed doctor's orders more carefully. She let Marcus help without fighting him. She admitted when she was in pain instead of pretending she was fine. 2 weeks after surgery, her doctor cleared her to resume normal activities. You're healing beautifully, the doctor said. The shunt is functioning perfectly. You should be able to return to work next week. Thank God, Jasmine said. I love Marcus, but if he makes me one more cup of herbal tea, I'm going to lose it. The doctor laughed. He's been a devoted caregiver. You're lucky to have him. I know, Jasmine said, looking at Marcus. I really am. That night, Marcus cooked dinner at Jasmine's place. Nothing fancy pasta and salad. But it felt normal, comfortable, like they'd been doing this for years. I have something to ask you, Marcus said as they finished eating. Okay, Jasmine said cautiously. Marcus got down on one knee beside her wheelchair. Jasmine's eyes went wide. Wait, are you? Jasmine Carter. I sat at the wrong table 4 months ago and found everything I'd been missing for 8 years. You're brilliant and strong and stubborn as hell. You challenge me. You scare me. You make me want to be better. And when you were in that hospital unconscious and fragile, I realized I never want to face a moment like that without having told you exactly how serious I am about us. He pulled out a small box. I don't have a fancy ring yet. This is just a placeholder. But I'm asking anyway. Will you marry me? Jasmine was crying. You're supposed to wait longer. We've only known each other 4 months. I've wasted enough time in my life playing it safe. I'm not wasting another minute. I love you. I want to build a life with you. So will you marry me? Yes, Jasmine said through tears. Yes, of course, yes. Marcus slid the simple silver band onto her finger and kissed her, deep and thorough and full of promise. When they pulled apart, Jasmine was laughing. Your daughter is going to be insufferable. She called this weeks ago. I know. I'll never hear the end of it. And my father probably already has a venue picked out. Definitely. He's been planning our wedding since the hospital. This is crazy, Jasmine said. Completely crazy, Marcus agreed. But it's right. It's absolutely right. They sat together on the couch, Jasmine's head on Marcus's shoulder, both of them thinking about futures and families and the beautiful, complicated life they were about to build together. One question, Jasmine said eventually. Anything. That placeholder ring, when do I get the real one? Marcus laughed. Next week. I wanted to propose first before I spent money on something you might say no to. Smart man. That's why I'm marrying you. I thought you were marrying me because I make terrible jokes and hover too much when you're sick. That too. They kissed again, and Marcus thought about that night 4 months ago. Sitting at the wrong table. Meeting a woman in a wheelchair. having no idea his entire life was about to change. Best mistake he'd ever made, and everything that came after the challenges, the complications, the medical emergencies, the difficult father, all of it was completely worth it. Because at the end of every hard day, he got to come home to Jasmine, and that was enough. More than enough. It was everything. The ring shopping expedition involved Marcus Keisha Richard and an extremely patient jeweler named Sarah, who'd been recommended by one of Richard's business associates. "That one's too small," Richard said, pointing at a modest solitaire. "That one's too flashy," Keisha countered, gesturing at a massive 3-carat stone. Marcus looked at Sarah helplessly. "Can you show me something that says, 'I love you,' without saying, 'I'm compensating for something'?" Sarah laughed and pulled out a tray of rings. "These are our elegant classics, timeless without being ostentatious." Marcus's eyes landed on a platinum band with a single diamond surrounded by smaller sapphires. "Simple, beautiful, exactly right. That one," he said. "Let me see." Richard picked it up, examining it critically. "The center stone is only a carat. Jasmine deserves bigger." "Jasmine deserves what she wants, not what's biggest," Marcus said firmly. "And she'd want this one. It's elegant, professional. It doesn't scream for attention." Keisha peered at it. "The sapphires are a nice touch. Something blue for the wedding." "I'll take it," Marcus said. Richard pulled out his credit card. "Let me." "No," Marcus said. "With respect, sir, I'm buying my fiancé's engagement ring. This is one thing I need to do myself." Richard hesitated, then put his card away. "You're right. I apologize. Old habits." "I appreciate the gesture, though," Marcus said softer. "Really." They left the jewelry store with the ring secured in a small velvet box. Marcus felt the weight of it in his pocket, tangible proof that this was real. "When are you going to give it to her?" Keisha asked as they walked to the parking lot. "Tonight. She thinks I'm just coming over for dinner." "She's going to love it," Keisha said. "And Dad, I'm proud of you. You took a chance on something scary and it worked out. That takes courage." Marcus hugged his daughter. "Thanks, baby girl, for pushing me, for approving of her, for everything." "Just promise me you'll invite me to the wedding," Keisha teased. "You're going to be in the wedding," Marcus said. "Can't get married without my daughter there." That evening, Marcus arrived at Jasmine's condo with the real ring and a dozen roses. She opened the door in sweatpants and a Northwestern t-shirt, her hair pulled back in a messy bun. "You didn't have to bring flowers again," she said, taking them. "You literally brought flowers 3 days ago." "I wanted to." Marcus followed her inside. "How are you feeling? Any headaches?" "I'm fine. Stop asking me every 5 minutes." "I'll stop asking in another month. Maybe." Jasmine rolled her eyes, but smiled. "Okay, Mother Hen. What do you want for dinner?" "Actually, I want to give you something first." Marcus pulled out the velvet box. Jasmine's eyes widened. "Is that the real ring? The placeholder was killing me." He opened the box. Jasmine gasped. The diamond caught the light, the sapphire's glinting blue. "Marcus, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect." "You haven't even tried it on yet." "I don't need to. I love it." She held out her hand and Marcus slipped off the silver band, replacing it with the new ring. It fit perfectly. Jasmine stared at her hand, tears streaming down her face. "This is real. This is really happening." "This is really happening," Marcus confirmed. "You're stuck with me now." "Good. I don't want to be unstuck." They kissed, and Marcus thought about how 4 months ago he'd been alone and lonely, convinced his life was set in its ways. Now he was engaged to a woman who challenged him daily, scared him regularly, and made him happier than he'd been in years. "We need to talk about the wedding," Jasmine said later as they ate takeout Chinese food on her couch. "Already? We just got engaged for real like an hour ago." "My father is going to want to plan something elaborate. I'm warning you now." "What do you want?" Marcus asked. Jasmine was quiet for a moment. Something small, intimate. Just the people who matter. I don't need a society wedding with 300 guests I barely know. Then that's what we'll do. My father is going to push back. Let him. This is our wedding, not his. Marcus squeezed her hand. What matters to you? Tell me your vision. Honestly, I want to get married in that Gold Coast house, the one my father gave me. It's beautiful, and it's ours, and it's accessible. I want close friends and family. I want good food and better music. I want to marry you without it being a circus. Done. We'll make it happen. You're sure because Richard Carter's daughter getting married is going to be news. People will want invitations. My father's business associates will expect to be included. Then they'll be disappointed. Marcus was firm. Jasmine, I don't care about society expectations or business politics. I care about you. If you want a small wedding, we're having a small wedding. I love you, Jasmine said. I love you too. The next morning, they went to tell Richard together. He was in his office working through paperwork on a Sunday morning because apparently billionaires didn't take days off. We've set a date, Jasmine announced. 6 months from now. Small wedding at the Gold Coast house. Richard looked up from his papers. 6 months? That's very soon. And small Jasmine everyone will expect. I don't care what everyone expects, Jasmine said. This is my wedding, mine and Marcus's, not a business networking opportunity. I understand that, but there are certain people. No, Dad, we're doing this our way. 50 guests maximum. Close friends and family. That's it. Richard looked at Marcus. And you agree with this? Completely. It's what Jasmine wants. That's all that matters. Richard set down his pen and studied them both. You're serious about this? Completely serious, Jasmine confirmed. Fine, 50 guests, small wedding. But I'm paying for it. That's non-negotiable. Dad? Jasmine, you're my only daughter. Let me do this, please. Richard's voice was soft. I won't interfere with the planning. I won't invite people you don't want. But let me pay for your wedding. Jasmine looked at Marcus, who shrugged. It's your call. Okay, Dad, you can pay. But we're hiring our own planner. Someone who listens to what we want, not what's fashionable. Agreed. Richard stood and hugged his daughter. I'm proud of you, both of you. You found something real. That's rare. Marcus shook Richard's hand, and for the first time it felt like respect rather than a test. The next 6 months were a blur of planning and preparation. Jasmine hired a wedding planner named Maria who specialized in accessible events. They tasted cakes, sampled catering, picked out flowers. Marcus mostly nodded and agreed, recognizing that Jasmine had specific visions for everything. You're being suspiciously agreeable, Jasmine said one afternoon as they reviewed table arrangements. I don't care about table arrangements. I care about marrying you. Everything else is just details. Most grooms have opinions. My opinions are, I want you to be happy, I want good food, and I want a bar stocked with decent whiskey. Beyond that, I trust you. Jasmine kissed him. This is why I'm marrying you. Because I don't argue about napkin colors. Because you understand what matters, and let go of what doesn't. 2 months before the wedding location. 2 had its grand reopening. The rebuild had transformed it into the best of the 3 locations' updated equipment. Better workflow, improved customer waiting area. Marcus stood outside on opening day, watching customers stream in, and felt pride swell in his chest. Jerry walked up beside him. You did it, boss. Survived Richard Carter's attacks, rebuilt stronger, and you're getting married in 2 months. Not bad for a year's work. Not bad at all, Marcus agreed. His phone buzzed. Jasmine, how's the reopening going? Marcus typed back. Perfect. Wish you were here. I'll be there in an hour. Just finishing up a client call. Love you. Love you too. Marcus pocketed his phone and went inside to help with the rush. This was his life, now successful businesswoman, He loved future that looked bright, all because he'd sat at the wrong table. 1 month before the wedding, Keisha came home for a long weekend. She'd been working impossible hours at the hospital and looked exhausted. "You need to sleep," Marcus said, looking at the dark circles under her eyes. "I'll sleep after boards. Right now, I need to help plan my father's bachelor party." "I don't need a bachelor party." "Yes, you do. Jerry already texted me. He's planning something at a sports bar. Nothing crazy. Just guys, beer, and watching the game." "That actually sounds perfect." "I know. I helped plan it." Keisha grinned. "But I wanted to talk to you about something else. About the wedding." "Okay. Are you sure about this? About getting married so fast? You've only known Jasmine for 10 months. Marcus sat down across from his daughter. "You told me not to wait. You said good things don't stay available forever." "I know what I said. But now it's real and happening. And I'm having second thoughts about pushing you so hard." "Why?" "Because I don't want you to get hurt. Because you've been alone for so long, and maybe you're rushing into this because you're scared of being alone again." Marcus took a breath, choosing his words carefully. "Keisha, I'm not marrying Jasmine because I'm scared of being alone. I'm marrying her because she's my person, the one who sees me clearly and loves me anyway, the one who challenges me to be better, the one I want beside me for whatever comes next. Could I have waited another year? Sure. Would anything have changed? No. I know what I want, and it's her." Keisha's eyes filled with tears. Okay, I believe you. I'm sorry for doubting." "You're not doubting. You're protecting. That's what you do, and I love you for it." They hugged, and Marcus was grateful again for his daughter, for her fierce loyalty, for her willingness to question him when she thought he needed it. 2 weeks before the wedding disaster struck, Marcus got a call from Maria, the wedding planner. Her voice panicked. "We have a problem. The caterer just canceled. Food poisoning outbreak at another event. Health department shut them down pending investigation. They can't do your wedding." "What?" Marcus felt his stomach drop. "Can we find another caterer?" 2 weeks before a Saturday wedding in Chicago. Everyone good is booked. I'm calling in every favor I have, but I'm not optimistic." Marcus hung up and immediately called Jasmine. "We have a problem." "How bad?" "Caterer canceled. Food poisoning issue. We might not have food at our wedding." Jasmine was quiet for a moment. "Okay, don't panic. Let me make some calls." 3 hours later, Jasmine called back. "Problem solved." "How?" "My father knows a restaurant owner who owes him a favor. They're going to cater the wedding. It'll be different food than we planned, Italian instead of French, but it'll be excellent." Crisis averted. Marcus felt relief flood through him. "Your father is surprisingly useful sometimes." "Don't let him hear you say that. His ego is big enough already." The bachelor party was exactly what Marcus needed. Jerry and the guys from the shop, a few old friends from his construction days, and surprisingly, Richard Carter. "Your father-in-law crashed your bachelor party," Jerry said, amused. "I'm just here to buy a round," Richard said, signaling the bartender. "And to say thank you." "For what?" Marcus asked. "For loving my daughter. For standing up to me when I was being an ass. For proving me wrong about a lot of things." Richard raised his beer. To Marcus, "May you have many years of happiness with Jasmine, and may you never have to deal with a father-in-law as difficult as I've been." Everyone laughed and drank. Later, as the party was winding down, Richard pulled Marcus aside. "I need to tell you something about the fire at your shop." Marcus's blood went cold. "What about it?" "It wasn't an accident. I mean, it was the electrical system really did fail. But I may have had someone inspect your building a week before. They reported the electrical system was marginal. I didn't tell you. I thought—" Richard stopped, his face full of shame. "I thought if your business struggled, you'd leave Jasmine, so I didn't warn you. And then the fire happened and I realized how wrong I'd been. Marcus stared at him. You knew my building was a fire risk and said nothing. I'm sorry. I've been carrying this guilt for months. I needed you to know. You could have killed someone. One of my employees could have been hurt. I know. I'm sorry. If you want to call off the wedding. I'm not calling off the wedding because you're an idiot, Marcus said angrily. But you need to understand something. Your daughter almost married me without knowing this. She deserves to know what kind of man her father is. You're right. I'll tell her. No, I'll tell her. Together. Tonight. No more secrets. They left the bar and drove to Jasmine's condo. She opened the door, surprised to see them both. What's wrong? She asked immediately. Marcus and Richard came inside. Marcus took a breath and told her everything. The building inspection. Richard silenced the fire that followed. Jasmine's face went pale, then red with anger. Dad, what were you thinking? I was trying to protect you. By risking people's lives, by sabotaging Marcus's business. Jasmine's voice was shaking. We've been over this. You can't control my life. And this is beyond control. This is dangerous. I know. I'm sorry. I've apologized to Marcus. I'm apologizing to you. I was wrong. Completely, inexcusably wrong. Sorry doesn't fix this, Dad. Sorry doesn't undo the risk you created. I know. Richard looked older than Marcus had ever seen him. I don't expect forgiveness. I just needed you both to know the truth. Jasmine looked at Marcus. Did you know? I just found out tonight, at the bachelor party. And you made him come here to tell me. No more secrets. That's what we promised each other. Jasmine nodded slowly. Dad, I need you to leave. I need time to process this. Jasmine, please, just go. After Richard left, Jasmine sat in silence for a long time. Marcus waited, not pushing. I can't believe he did that, she finally said. All this time he's been apologizing for the attacks on your business. But he never mentioned that he knew about the electrical problems. He was desperate. Desperate people make bad choices. That's not an excuse. It's not. But it's an explanation. Marcus sat beside her. Jasmine, your father loves you. He loves you so much that it made him reckless. That doesn't make what he did okay, but it makes it understandable. Are you defending him? No, I'm saying I understand him. Because if someone threatened you now, I might do something equally stupid to protect you. Love makes us irrational sometimes. Jasmine leaned her head on his shoulder. The wedding is in 2 weeks. My father just confessed to essentially attempted sabotage. What do? We decide if we can forgive him. Not forget what he did was serious, but forgive enough to move forward. Can you forgive him? Marcus thought about it. Yeah, I can. He came clean. He's been trying to make amends for months, and he's going to be my father-in-law. I'd rather have a relationship with him than hold a grudge forever. You're a better person than I am. No, I'm just old enough to know that holding grudges is exhausting. Life's too short. Jasmine called her father the next morning. I'm still angry, but I'm also willing to forgive you. On one condition. Anything, Richard said. You get therapy. Real therapy. You deal with your control issues and your trauma from my accident. Because I'm getting married and possibly having kids someday, and I need to know you won't pull this kind of thing with my children. I'll start next week, Richard promised. Good. And Dad, if you ever put Marcus or anyone else at risk again, I'm done. Completely done. This is your last chance. Understood. Thank you, Jasmine, for giving me another chance. The wedding day arrived faster than Marcus expected. He woke up in his own house. He and Jasmine had agreed to spend the night before a part traditional superstition and felt nerves flutter in his stomach. His phone buzzed. Keisha. Big day, Dad. I'm proud of you. See you at the house at 2. Jerry. Boss, your tux is ready. Don't be late to your own wedding. Jasmine. I know we're not supposed to talk today, but I can't help it. I love you. See you at 4. Marcus smiled and typed back, love you too. Can't wait to marry you. The Gold Coast house had been transformed. White flowers everywhere. Chairs set up in the main room facing a makeshift altar. String quartet warming up in the corner. 50 guests exactly as Jasmine wanted. Marcus stood at the altar in his tux, Jerry beside him as best man watching guests arrive. Keisha in a beautiful bridesmaid dress. Richard looking distinguished and nervous. Friends from the shop. Jasmine's colleagues from TechCore. Small group. Intimate. Perfect. The quartet started playing and everyone stood. Jasmine appeared at the entrance. She'd chosen not to be pushed down the aisle. Instead, she rolled herself, her white dress flowing around the wheelchair, her hair in an elegant updo, a veil trailing behind her. She looked absolutely beautiful. Marcus felt tears start and didn't try to stop them. Richard walked beside her, one hand on her shoulder. When they reached the altar, he kissed her cheek and whispered something that made her smile. Then Jasmine rolled forward to face Marcus. "Hi," she whispered. "Hi," he whispered back. The officiant began. "We're gathered here today to witness the union of Marcus Johnson and Jasmine Carter. This is a love story that began with a mistake, a wrong table, a case of mistaken identity. But sometimes the best things in life begin with mistakes. Sometimes sitting at the wrong table leads us exactly where we need to be." Marcus barely heard the rest. He was focused on Jasmine, on her eyes, on the smile that said she was as happy as he was. "Marcus, your vows," the officiant prompted. Marcus took a breath. "Jasmine, 10 months ago, I walked into a fancy restaurant I couldn't afford looking for a blind date I never found. Instead, I found you, and you changed everything. You challenged me, scared me, made me want to be better. You showed me that playing it safe is the same as not living at all. So I'm promising you right now, I'll keep taking risks. I'll keep showing up. I'll keep loving you through every complication, every challenge, every moment. The wheelchair is part of you, but it's not all of you. And I love all of you. Every part. Today and always." Jasmine was crying. "Marcus, I spent 3 years after my accident being told what I couldn't do, couldn't work, couldn't live independently, couldn't find love. You're the first person who saw what I could do, who treated me like I was capable instead of fragile, who loved me, not despite my disability, but with my disability as part of who I am. You see me, really see me. And that's the greatest gift anyone has ever given me. I promise to keep challenging you. Keep scaring you, keep making you take risks, because you make me brave enough to take them too. I love you, today and always." "Rings," the officiant said. Jerry handed Marcus the wedding band. Marcus slipped it onto Jasmine's finger next to her engagement ring. Keisha handed Jasmine a ring. Jasmine slipped it onto Marcus's finger. "By the power vested in me, I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss." Marcus leaned down. Jasmine reached up. They kissed while 50 people applauded. "I present to you Mr. and Mrs. Johnson," the officiant announced. They rolled and walked down the aisle together, husband and wife. And Marcus thought about that night 10 months ago. The wrong table, the right person, the decision that changed everything. At the reception, Richard gave a toast. "I haven't always handled things well. I let fear control my actions. I tried to protect my daughter from risks, not realizing I was protecting her from living. Marcus taught me that love means trusting people to make their own choices, respecting their strength instead of managing their weakness. I'm grateful to him for that lesson. And I'm grateful to both of them for giving me another chance to be part of their lives." To Marcus and Jasmine. "To Marcus and Jasmine," everyone echoed. Keisha gave a toast. "My dad spent 8 years playing it safe, building walls, avoiding risk. Then he sat at the wrong table and met a woman who made him want to tear down every wall. That takes courage. I'm proud of you, Dad. And Jasmine, welcome to the family. Thank you for making my father happy again." Jerry gave a toast. I've known Marcus for 15 years. I've never seen him smile like he does around Jasmine. That's all I need to know. To love to laughter and to sitting at wrong tables. Marcus and Jasmine danced him, standing her in her wheelchair, both of them laughing as they figured out the mechanics. It wasn't perfect. It was better than perfect. It was real. Later, as the party wound down, they stood together looking out at the Chicago skyline through the floor-to-ceiling windows. "Mrs. Johnson," Marcus said, "how does it feel?" "Perfect. Absolutely perfect." Jasmine squeezed his hand. "Thank you." "For what?" "For sitting at the wrong table, for staying when you could have run, for seeing me when everyone else saw limitations. Thank you for inviting me to stay. For giving me a chance. For loving me back." They kissed as the city lights sparkled around them. 6 months later, Jasmine found out she was pregnant. High risk, just as the doctors predicted, but they navigated it together, every appointment, every complication, every moment of fear and joy. Richard was there too, transformed by therapy into a grandfather who supported instead of controlled, who trusted instead of managed. Marcus opened a 4th location. Keisha finished medical school and started her residency. Life moved forward, complicated and challenging and absolutely beautiful. And sometimes late at night, Marcus would think about that moment in the restaurant, standing by the wrong table, making the choice to sit down, having no idea that everything was about to change. Best mistake he ever made. The wrong table had been exactly right, and every day since had proven it. He'd found his person, his partner, his equal. All because he'd been brave enough to sit down when he could have walked away. That courage had given him everything: a wife, a family, a future, and a love story that started with a mistake and became the greatest triumph of his life. Sometimes, the best things happen when plans go wrong. Sometimes, the wrong table is exactly where you need to be. And sometimes having the courage to stay changes everything. Marcus and Jasmine built a life together. Not perfect, not easy, but real and honest and full of love. That was enough. More than enough. It was everything they'd ever needed. And it all started with sitting at the wrong table.